Hello everyone, if you're new to my channel, consider liking and subscribing. It will make me feel wonderful if you do that. Thanks. By the way, I also have another Naruto and Luffy fanfiction channel. If you are interested, link is in the description.
The Straw Hat's Red Devil, Sky Island Saga, Number 3, by DeadGirlEtarnal. She's the daughter of red-haired Shanks. She was dropped off to live with Luffy. She met Ace and Sabo, but when Sabo died, it was the last for her, as she vows to take revenge. Years later, she leaves the island and sets on adventures of her own. She soon meets up with her baby brother and travels with him, finding love in more than one place. Adios.
Dakota's Pav. I land on the raft lightly and wrap APIs in my arms, letting her cry on my shoulder for our friend as he lies in the water. Grandpa Ryu. She screams with such heartache I hold her tighter, trying to take the pain away. Grandpa Ryu. She whimpers into my shoulder and clings onto me as the Marines shoot a harpoon towards the ancient dragon. But thankfully Luffy catches it before it can touch Grandpa Ryu. What are you doing? Luffy asks with a deadly tone, and the Commodore laughs loud enough to hear him from where we are. You little twerp, you don't even know what you're standing on. The Commodore laughs rather loud. The only thing I want is that Millennium Dragon's bones. When I acquire that Dragonite, I will obtain eternal youth. He laughs some more, angering Luffy as he tightens his grip on the harpoon and throws it back at the marine battleship. Bastard! Luffy screams angrily, throws the harpoon hard towards the Commodore, and hits the wall to his left, leaving him agape. Grandpa Ryu isn't some object. He's our friend. We've sailed together. He's an important friend to us. Poppycock! The Commodore shouts back, if that's your answer, why don't you just sink into the sea with your friend, pesky nuisance? How dare you throw that harpoon at me? Kill that twerp as well. The Marine next to him talks back, but I can't hear them well enough, but I know it's not good as I jump from the raft onto the Going Merry. Aim all cannons at the ocean surface. The Marine subordinates shout, and they move the cannons. I look over to Grandpa Ryu and Luffy to see the dragon sinking further into the water as Luffy talks to Grandpa Ryu when an earthquake shakes through the surrounding ocean of Warship Island. I grab onto APIs and tie her to Usopp's back for now. Untie me. APIs protests as I finish the knot with an unaware Usopp. I have to get to Grandpa Ryu. What's that? Usopp wonders and turns to see APIs tied to his back. What did that happen? He asks and sees me smiling at him. See, now I know you'll look after her, I tell him and walk away. Just let Luffy take care of Grandpa Ryu, Usopp tells her. No, she argues back, struggling to break free. I'm going. He'll keep him safe, you'll see, he yells over the quake. The whole ocean is shaking. Nami yells over the rumbling. What is this? What's happening? I walk over to her and see Luffy pulling on Grandpa Ryu's feathers, trying to keep him afloat, and the quake gets rougher, and I see land coming closer to the ocean surface. The Marines are in the middle of the earthquake as it worsens, and they light the cannons firing on Grandpa Ryu and Luffy. As if sensing something, the ancient dragon lifts his head and gives another mighty roar as if calling out for something or someone. Grandpa Ryu. APIs calls out to him. What's he crying for? Usopp wonders. He's calling them. She answers. Calling who? The others ask her. The Millennium Dragon scattered around the world. The time has come, is what he's saying, the young girl answers. The time has come, Nami echoes and looks over. What does that mean? I look around and see something in the distance. Oh oi, what are those? Usopp yells and points over. Akuma no human demon form. Eyes from hell, I say, and my eyes change as always. I focus off into the distance and see a flock of Millennium Dragons flying towards us fast, soon flying over. Millennium Dragons. The sky's full of them, Usopp stutters in awe. I bet they're Grandpa Ryu's nakama. I smile as I watch them fly overhead. Yeah, APIs awes as we all watch, and I see a Millennium fly close to the water in front of the main battleship and fly close, spooking the Commodore, and tilting him over, which I can't help but laugh. I see the Millennium Dragons fly around in a circle above our heads, and I hear Grandpa Ryu let out a final roar before falling back into the water and sinking further. I hear the gargoyle start laughing, angering Luffy, and he stretches his arm towards the flying Millennium Dragons above. Gum Gum Rocket. Luffy shouts and flings himself over the flying, then stretches his leg higher. Axe. He brings his leg down over the main battleship, lets go of the dragon's neck and snaps the ship in half before retracting his leg as the battleship falls into the water. I look in shock at the power behind Luffy's smash and the wave of water from the impact with a small shower. What happened? He killed the Commodore. The Marines shout in fright, and Luffy, with his angry face, marches up. The Marines freak out, wanting out of here. They ready the ship and forget the chains connecting them, making them bump into each other. The once perfect circle breaks around us as the Marines try to flee, and I untie APIs from Usopp as the boys return to the ship. Wah, that was cool. Usopp beams, and I let APIs on the floor. Nami-san, Dakota, my love, I'm back, I hear Sanji shout to us. Shut up and get on. I hear Zoro snap at him. Where's Luffy? I ask them as they come aboard. Gum Gum Rocket. Luffy shouts, and we look over to see him shoot his arm up from the destroyed ship into the air above, wrapping around one of the necks of the Millennium Dragons and shooting himself up. He comes falling towards the boat, and I run to the middle and have my arms out ready as he comes closer, and he lands hard in my arms, making us both fall on the floor. Yo, he greets us as he sits up. No, yos, Nami snaps and helps me to my feet, and I see APIs run to the back of the ship. Be a little gentler when you land, you're gonna break the ship. Grandpa Ryu. APIs cries, and another quake comes around, shaking the ship and water around us as if something is getting closer. An earthquake? Sanji wonders as if it's the first one. Again, Nami wonders, and I walk over to APIs as she sits on the floor crying. Grandpa Ryu, my promise to Grandpa Ryu. I couldn't keep it. I couldn't take him to the dragon's nest. APIs sobs, and I place her in my arms, letting her cry as she holds onto me for dear life. Grandpa Ryu's wish came true, Luffy tells her, and she looks over my shoulder. The Millennium Dragons are calling, can't you hear them? Once he says this, a massive shockwave blows through from the warship island. I hold onto APIs as the rumbling becomes louder, and I see the water shoot up in random places revealing columns of rocks, and the ocean floor comes closer. So that's what it means. I hear Nami yell over the rumbling. What do you mean, Nami-san? Sanji asks her from the other side of the ship. Just like the fresco said, the dragon's nest is here. The name, Millennium, doesn't refer to their lifespan. It means they come to this island once every 1,000 years. The Millennium Dragons are migratory. The flock didn't just appear here by chance. Lost Island is the perfect name for it. It only surfaces once every 1,000 years. There's no way any living human would remember it surfacing, and now, this very moment, the dragon's nest is going to appear. Nami explains over the rumbling, and the land becomes more abundant, with marine battleships getting caught by some of the tall rocks. Finally, the rumbling stops and the dragons stop circling above Warship Island, perch around the corals, and land with small water pools. Amazing, we all say in awe as we look around this fantastic place full of Millennium Dragons. So, this is, APIs says, and I place her on the floor, which is a bad idea as she jumps ship and runs over to Grandpa Ryu. Oi, 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 APIs. Sanji calls after her retreating form, and I jump over after her. APIs. Dakota. Usopp calls after us. One Piece Warship Island arc. I chase after APIs as she runs towards the water with Grandpa Ryu lying, not moving. I catch up and scoop her up in my arms. She struggles to break free from my hold. Grandpa Ryu? APIs yells, and I walk towards the ancient unmoving dragon into the ocean water. But I begin to feel myself grow weaker as I get further into the salty. She yells right in my ear, making me cringe at the sheer volume of someone so small. She keeps calling out to him, but he's gone, and I hold her tight as she cries into my shoulder, and I rub her back, soothing her. It seems like a coincidence, but the place Grandpa Ryu fell turned out to be the dragon's nest. I wonder if that means he can rest in peace. Nami comments from behind us. He's fine. Before he sank, he said his wish had come true. Luffy replies, and I can't help but think he's not wrong. So this is the dragon's nest. There sure are a lot of weird-looking rocks. Usopp comments as he looks around. I bet, these are dragonite. Look at this rock here. Looks like a dragon, don't you think? Sanji asks, and I look over, and I have to say he's not wrong. Well, yeah, but why are the rocks shaped like dragons? He asks. Because during those 1,000 years, they were under the ocean. Their bodies became calcified. Nami explains, though I doubt any of it went through. I see. Usopp lies as if he understood any of it. Did you understand a word of that? Zoro asks him. Nope, not a bit. Usopp replies. When elephants die, they go to a place called the elephant's graveyard, don't they? Maybe that's what this place is. The dragon's graveyard. Nami suggests her theory. The dragon's graveyard, Zoro mutters, and it seems APIs has had enough of them talking and jumps out of my arms. No, that's not true. Grandpa Ryu told me if he returned to the dragon's nest, he'd get better. This can't be a graveyard. APIs shouts at them angrily, not believing them. APIs, I mutter and place my arms around her, trying to comfort her. Grandpa Ryu was a lost Millennium Dragon, Luffy tells her. Luffy? Nami questions him, wondering what he'll say to the young girl, hoping it won't upset her further. For 1,000 years, he was all alone. But then, he became friends with you, APIs. Out of the 1,000 years he lived, for it was the time he spent with you that he treasured most of all. He tells her, and I feel her relax a little. Luffy, you can understand what the dragons say? She asks him. Kind of, the rubber boy answers her. Cut that out already. Usopp whines. But I'm sure that's what he said. Luffy defends himself. Liar, I hear APIs whisper in my arms. Grandpa Ryu, you liar, this is the dragon's nest. If we've found the dragon's nest, then open your eyes, talk to me. Get better again. She sobs and wraps her arms around my neck, and I hold her close, reminding me of Luffy when we were younger and lost him. Grandpa Ryu wasn't lying. He said Millennium Dragons have to return to the dragon's nest every 1,000 years, to be reborn. Luffy tells her, and she stops crying and moves to face the others, wiping her tears away. Grandpa Ryu will. APIs whispers. Looks over there, Luffy yells and points over the right, and I see a small-looking oval baby blue-like rock, but it begins to crack, and a small head pushes its way out, revealing a tiny baby Millennium Dragon. APIs gasps in awe at the adorable little creature as it lets out a little cry. A baby Millennium Dragon, APIs exclaims, and 4 adult Millenniums flock to the hatchling's aid, and it opens its small eyes, letting out a cry. I feel APIs shake, beginning to cry, this time in happiness at the thought of Grandpa Ryu being reborn again. I take her hand, and we walk up the slight incline to the others. She looks back at Grandpa Ryu for the last time, and we meet up with the others at the top. One Piece. Warship Island Arc. So, you see APIs, this place isn't just the dragon's graveyard. It's also a place that connects them to new life. I tell her as we walk back to the ship through the dragon's nest. Thank you, everyone. When Grandpa Ryu said, return me to the dragon's nest, I think I understand what kind of place this might be. And why Grandpa Ryu wanted to return so badly. APIs says, seeming better over his death. APIs, Nami mutters. It's an incredible place. I understand why our ancestors built that temple now. She says, and there's a moment of silence. Thank you, Luffy. She smiles big. Now, let's go back to the village. I bet the villagers are scared out of their wits. Yeah. Luffy agrees with a big grin that is contagious. Yosha. Let's grab our ship and get off this island. He raises his hands, and we walk off towards the Going Merry. Ooh, man, am I hungry? Sanji. Make us something good. Sure. Sanji agrees as we walk off. With meat, 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 he yells his usual order. I'll have vegetables and a big pile of bean sprouts, Usopp yells in his order. Like I haven't heard that before, the love cook jokes. But this place is just incredible. Are all of these really Millennium Dragons? Usopp asks. Sure looks like it, I comment as we look around the place with dragon-like statues in various poses. So much for the Dragonite. If they all turn out like this, it must be just another fairy tale, Sanji says, and he's not wrong. So that whole elixir of eternal youth thing, Usopp asks. A dream within a dream. With everything covered in coral like this, there's no way to make an elixir, Nami answers him. Guess you're right, he replies with a sigh. Those Marines were just wasting their time. Zoro comments, and I notice he still won't look at me since I kissed him on the cheek. I feel API's holding my hand tighter when a cry of pain bounces through the air towards us. I turn with the others to see Eric standing on one of the taller rocks, fixing his hair with a mean look. I pull API's closer to my side as she shakes in fear of the mercenary. "Man, you're still here?" Luffy whines. "Indeed, any longer and I would have drowned. Behold this beautiful radiance, isn't it wonderful? This is the source of the elixir of eternal youth, the Dragonite." Eric spouts nonsense. "But with the Millennium Dragons calcified like this, there's no way to make an elixir." I point out his flawed plan. "So it seems. But you are forgetting the bountiful living Dragonite sitting right before us. How about this? I'm tired of this meaningless fighting. Why don't we just share this fortune?" he offers, but it's not going to work for any of us. "No," Luffy answers with no hesitation. "Don't you want eternal life?" the sickle idiot asks him. "Not interested," Luffy answers. "Liar," Eric yells angrily. "There is no man who doesn't fear death. And for you and I who have eaten the devil's fruit, only a thin line separates us from this world and hell. There's no way you can't fear death. That's what you think. If this guy's done what he's set out to do, he'll die with a smile on his face." Zoro cuts in, having already seen it before. "I see. Very well, then. You can just sit there and watch while I claim the Dragonite for myself," Eric says, and API's runs out of my hold towards him. "No," API's yells. "Stay put, you little pest." He snaps and tries to strike her, but before I can move, Usopp dives for her and pulls her into him as they roll out of his wind strike. "API's," I call out to her as she sits up, looking okay. "Don't be so reckless, API's," Usopp scolds her lightly. "Even if it's reckless, I should have to protect them. This is a sacred place for the Millennium Dragons. I will protect this place, forever," API's proclaims her vow. "You still intend to stop me? Then you all shall die here. No whirlwind side." Eric snaps and sends 2 strikes towards API's and Usopp, but Luffy jumps in front of them, protecting them. They grab each other for dear life as Luffy takes the slashes and falls to his knees. I step forward with Zoro in worry, ready to strike for our captain. "Luffy," she and Usopp exclaim in worry for the rubber boy, but he seems okay, so Zoro and I back off for now. "He's mine," Luffy tells us, but Luffy, Nami tries to argue. "I made a promise." He cuts in and runs towards Eric swinging his arm around. No whirlwind side. Gum gum pistol," they shout, and Luffy stretches out his arm towards Eric but gets sliced up by his attack as he moves Phi's arm, somersaulting back towards another rock. Luffy punches the rock Eric lands on before retracting his arm. "Is that all you have, Rubber Man?" Eric taunts Luffy and laughs. "And now, the ultimate Kamaitachi technique. No matter where you run or hide, you won't escape. I wonder if you can handle it." "He's lost it," Zoro comments as we watch the fight. "Is Luffy in trouble?" Usopp asks. "Luffy," API's whimpers into my side. No wind side chaos." Eric yells and sends 3 large wind vortexes towards Luffy, which seem to break through rock, but he doesn't move. "I ain't gonna run or hide," Luffy yells and runs towards the vortexes coming towards him fast. "Fool! I'll cut you into pieces," he yells, and Luffy runs through the sharp wind cutting him all over. Luffy jumps over the wind and throws his arms. "Gum gum," our captain shouts and stretches his arms towards Eric, grabbing him by his upper arms. What the low-level assassin panics, and Luffy stretches his neck out far and sends it down. "Bell!" Luffy shouts and smacks his head into Eric. It's probably giving him a concussion as he breaks his stupid glasses. And he stretches his arms behind him. Bazooka! He smashes his hands into Eric's stomach as he falls, sending him flying, hopefully for the last time. I win. "We did it," API's cheers, and I throw her into the air catching her as she comes closer. "Let's go back to the village." Nami chuckles, and we make our way to the island's center. One Piece. Warship Island arc. We make it to the village to see her grandfather waiting for her, and she jumps out of my arms, running towards the older man and giving him a welcoming hug. We reach the island's edge to see the villagers peering over the side, looking down at the Millennium Dragons in complete awe. "What the hell is this? They really exist?" So they aren't just a legend? The villagers exclaim as they all watch the millenniums. I guess it's going to sink again before long. Nami sighs as we look around. When that happens, the Millennium Dragons will have to leave again, huh? Usopp questions. That Bay Millennium Dragon will go somewhere too, I guess, API says, and her grandfather pats her shoulder in comfort. So, would everyone care to come over and have some of my famous butamin? He asks us, turning to face us. Oh, we'd love Tom really, but we'll have to pass. We're in a bit of a hurry, you see. Nami declines his offer. I wanted to try, Luffy tries to say, but Nami punches him on the back of the head, stopping him. That hurt, he holds his head in pain. Thanks for the offer, but we have to go. Sanji politely declines the offer. Oh, that's unfortunate. It will take 3 days to prepare. So in the meantime, I'll tell you the story of the Lost Island's royal family. Gramps offers. Oh, we've already heard the story. I decline his offer, and we begin to leave. I feel a small hand pulling on my shirt, stopping me. I look down to see API's holding onto my shirt. What is it, API's? I ask her and crouch down to her level. You're leaving now, and I don't want you to. API's cries as tears begin to swell, and I hug her close to me. I've got something for you. Akuma no demon form. Devil's binding gift. I tell her and pull out of my jeans pocket to reveal 2 silver necklaces shaped like dragons with 2 gems attached that make a hole. This will keep us bound to one another, and I will always be there for you, APIs. No matter what, even if I am at the end of the Grand Line. Though I may not be able to make it here, I've left a Den Mushi back at yours with my number already on speed dial. I tell her. She smiles, hugging my neck and pulls away, letting me put the necklace on next to her other one from Grandpa Ryu. I'm going to miss you so much, Dakota. API's cries, and I feel tears starting to well up in my eyes and take her in my arms as we walk back to the Going Merry. I'll only be a phone call away, I tell her, holding back my own tears. One Piece. Warship Island arc. As we make it to the ship, I place her on the ground and hug her one last time before climbing up the ladder onto the Going Merry with the others. Yosh! Set sail for the Grand Line. Luffy shouts as we all get aboard and stand over the side, looking over the gathering villagers. APIs, you wanna come? He asked her, but I already knew the answer. I've had so much fun being with you guys. I'd like to, but I'm going to stay here on the island. I want to learn more about our customs from Grandpa Bokuden. And just as our ancestors protected the Millennium Dragons, I will protect the dragon's nest. I'll wait for the day when the baby dragon will return to this island. API's replies, telling us her dream. Wait a minute, the next time they'll come back, Usopp says, trying to figure out the math. Won't that be in another 1,000 years? Don't say stuff to ruin her dream, Sanji tells him, and API's shakes her head, knowing it is impossible. I know that I won't see the baby dragons when they grow up, but my children or their children will. And we'll protect this island forever, API's vows with such determination. You're talking crazy, Usopp says, and I slap him over the head, making him yelp from the pain as I may have held back a little. You guys do crazy things every day, don't you? She questions, and she's not wrong. Since I joined, we've had some odd adventures for sure. We do? Luffy asks, and we all stare at him in complete shock, all our mouths wide open. We leave it for now and get ready to set sail for the Red Line. See ya, APIs. He calls out as we all wave goodbye. APIs. Don't forget about me, Usopp shouts, the brave warrior of the sea, Usopp-sama. Bye-bye. Nami yells over Usopp. Bye-bye. APIs yells her goodbye as she waves both her arms. She stands on the coast's edge with the villagers standing behind her. Everyone, take care. You too, take care, APIs. I shout as she runs along, still waving her arms. See ya. We shout our final goodbye together as the Merry sails into open water. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. APIs shouts one last time. One Piece, Warship Island arc. I sit on the side of both on the railing, thinking over my time with the crew, and I watch the island becoming smaller as we sail away. You think APIs will be alright on her now? Usopp asks out of the blue. APIs will manage. She may be small, but she's full of spirit and courage. She'll be fine. Nami comments, and I have to agree with her. You're right, Nami-san. Sanji agrees with her, as always. It's okay, Luffy says. Yeah? Zoro adds in. APIs is our friend, right? Luffy asks us. Damn straight. I nod in agreement. One Piece, Warship Island arc. We're close to the red line. I can feel it as I stand at the railing by the kitchen as we sail calmly. Nami-san, report of love. I see some massive rain clouds dead ahead, and there's a storm under them. Sanji shouts from the crow's nest with Zoro. I guess we're back on our old route. We should be seeing the red line soon. Nami mutters to herself from next to me, and I see Luffy stretch up to the crow's nest as we sail closer to the storm clouds, and Luffy keeps shouting from the crow's nest. We're finally getting to the Grand Line, Luffy exclaims, overexcited, and smacks Sanji's back with too much strength. Hey, Sanji, we're getting there, man. We're getting there, he keeps saying as he smacks Sanji on the back. Quit that. Sanji snaps at him and kicks Luffy in the face. Sorry, he says and walks over to Zoro and starts smacking Zoro on the back just as hard. We're getting there, man. We're getting there, Luffy says as he smacks Zoro. Stop that. Zoro shouts at Luffy as he keeps smacking Sanji in his back hard. Guys, get in here. Nami calls us and walks into the kitchen with Usopp at the helm. One Piece. Warship Island arc. All of us are inside the kitchen, and Nami places the map of the Grand Line on the table as we sit. Though Usopp seems to be struggling rack as he plays around with the helm. Look at this, Nami says, gaining our attention. I've heard the rumors, but it's written here on the map, too. If they're true, then the entrance to the Grand Line is a mountain. A mountain? Luffy echoes as he looks at me. You mean we have to crash through the mountain? Zoro asks. The hell, Sanji mutters. I thought it was crazy too, but there are canals drawn along the mountainside. That might mean we have to climb it. Dakota confirmed my suspicion. Nami explains, and I nod as the boys look at me. Sounds like fun. Luffy cheers lightly. What are you talking about? Even if there was a canal, it's impossible for a ship to climb a mountain. Zoro questions, not believing what is about to happen. But that's what the map and Dakota say, Nami snaps. Of course, Sanji jumps in. There's no way Nami-san and Dakota-chan could be mistaken. You stole that map from Buggy, right? You really want to trust it? Zoro asks, and I think back to Buggy from the stories Dad would tell me when I was a kid. Zoro, Usopp cries out, help me with this damn helm. Sanji-kun, go help Usopp, will you? I can't think straight with all that noise. Nami complains over Usopp, crying out. Sanji, come help me. Usopp yells. Yes, Nami-san. Sanji yells in obedience and goes over to help. Here we go. He seems to be trying, but the helm won't budge. What? The current's flowing too fast. Usopp says the magic sentence. It means we're near Reverse Mountain. Usopp, say that again? I tell him just to make sure. I said the current's flowing too fast, he repeats himself. The current, Nami mutters to herself as if piecing it all together. I got it. Got what? Luffy asks her, not getting it. We really do have to climb the mountain. Nami finally gets it. You're still talking about that? Zoro asks, and I get up, moving next to Nami at the head of the table, and I point at Reverse Mountain on the map. Look here, I tell them. Listen. There's no doubt the guiding light was pointing here. Here on the red line, Reverse Mountain. Sanji joins us as I explain. Oi! What am I supposed to do here? Usopp rages from the helm, still holding on for dear life. See the canal here? If a strong current from each of the 4 oceans flows towards this mountain. The 4 currents would climb the mountain, meet at the top and flow straight down into the Grand Line. Since Reverse Mountain is a winter island, the currents collide with the red line travel down towards the ocean floor. If we can't make it into the canal, the Going Merry will slam straight into the red line, and the ship will be destroyed. Nothing left but ocean debris. Understand? I explain as best I can. And even Nami seems impressed, though I've traveled through the red line so many times in the past 5 years alone. I see, so it's a mystery mountain, right? Luffy asks, and I shake my head as he laughs to himself. I don't think you understand at all. In any case, this ship's already riding on one of those currents. So if we don't mess up our steering, we should make it up Reverse Mountain in one piece. Nami tells the others, and I nod in agreement. Nami-san, Dakota, My love, you're both so awesome, Sanji gushes at us from the other end of the table. I ain't ever heard of that. Ships climbing mountains. Zoro dismisses it, and I smirk. I've heard something. Sanji butts in, and I look at him surprised, though I suppose Zeph told him something. About the mystery mountain? Luffy asks our cook. Nope. He answers. Just that about half of the wannabes die trying to enter the Grand Line. So I know it ain't easy to get in. You're not wrong, but common sense in the Grand Line is fruitless. I tell them, and I see the rain is becoming denser. Sanji-kun, the sail please. Nami shouts as we walk outside, though I stop for mine and Nami's raincoats. Hers is bright pink, and mine is navy blue. Right away, Nami-san, Sanji answers and runs to fix the sails. Luffy, get your ass over here. Luffy and Sanji climb the ladder to the top and rein in the sails. Oi! Luffy screams through the heavy rain. I can see the mystery mountain. We all run over to see the red line. What? We all exclaim. Man, it's huge, Usopp yells with his jaw dropping to the floor. The entrance to the Grand Line, Nami says, and I hear Luffy laugh. So that's the red line, eh? Luffy questions, and I nod, seeing the sizable red rock face coming closer. Why, you see, can't even see the peak past the clouds. Usopp screams in fright, and the ship violently shifts into the current. We're getting sucked in, he yells as he hangs from the sail. Grab the helm. We've got it, the cowardly sniper yells, running into the kitchen. Leave it to me, Sanji yells, joining Usopp. And Nami. Luffy shouts, and I see through the fog that the gateway is becoming visible the closer we get. Where's the entrance, eh? If we head straight, we'll run into the cliff. Nami, what should we do? Usopp shouts, and I see the gateway coming into focus. Hold our path steady, Nami replies, seeing what I'm seeing. You sure? He questions her, and I turn my head. Just do it, I shout up to them, and Luffy jumps down next to Nami. Dakota, is that the canal entrance? Luffy asks, and I nod. We're almost there, I exclaim, and they all look at me as I smirk. Unreal. I hear Zoro mutter and see him looking through the binoculars, and I know what he's seeing. The water really is climbing up the mountain. Make sure we go straight between those water gates, okay? If we don't, the ship will be smashed to pieces. I warn the others as we get closer. We're drifting, Luffy shouts, and he's right as we drift to the left. More to the right, right. Okay, hard to starboard, Usopp says, and both he and Sanji push and pull on the helm as the ship rocks back and forth from the harsh waves as we get lured by the current. I hear a crash from inside and look to see Sanji and Usopp go flying along with the helm, meaning we're going without steering. The helm, we all shout as we get closer to the water gates. Gum Gum Balloon. Luffy shouts and jumps off the ship and inflates his stomach as the Going Merry drifts to the correct water gate post, and Luffy's stomach cushions the blow. I see Luffy go blue in the face as we move and bounce off of him, leaving him behind. Luffy, Zoro and I shout as Luffy floats in the air. Grab hold, Zoro yells, and Luffy deflates his stomach and stretches his arm out, grabbing Zoro's outstretched hand. Luffy flings towards us, and I move out of the way, and he falls onto the lower deck, head in the wooden board, breaking it with his head. Though Sanji and Usopp are celebrating inside the kitchen, something terrible is still coming. I hope he's not at the entranceway again. I don't want a repeat of last time. We made it, everyone screams, and I laugh, taking off my raincoat along with Nami. And now, we'll head straight to the peak, Nami yells, and I walk over to Luffy as he tries to get his head from the wooden board. I pull his shirt, and he pops out, landing on his ass. Sweet. Luffy cheers and gets to his feet, running off. Hey, I want to see it too. I walk behind Luffy to the front and see our ascent to the peak. Hey, awesome. I look over to our right to see Eric standing there looking menacing, and we all stop our celebration for now. You bastards, Eric cusses at us as he stands on the railing overlooking us. Oh. The Okama fruit guy, you don't give up, Luffy mutters as we stand off. Shut up, he snaps at us. You have crossed me for the last time. Thanks to you, my dream of obtaining the Dragonite is gone. But I won't let it end like that. I will at least have the pleasure of taking that 65 million heads of yours. Surrender now. The lowlife rages and points at Luffy and me. What should we do? If he uses that Kamaitachi thing here, there's no telling what he'll cut. Sanji worries as Usopp holds onto him, freaking out as usual. We don't have any room to mow, and I look around, but I don't think we can get rid of him without more legroom. Well, not any of you can lay a finger on me, Eric laughs as he taunts us. Ah, Dragonite. Nami lies and points to the floor. The idiot looks, giving her the room to walk over and kicks out his leg, and he falls, skidding into the water. I stare at the others in shock, not having thought about it. Bye-bye. Nami waves him off, and we all hit our fists into our palms. Oh, shoulda thought of that, we all say together. Since he's a hammer, he won't be bothering us anymore, she explains with a big grin. Even if he could swim, this current's just too choppy, Usopp cuts in, smirking. That's my Nami-san, Sanji coos at her, and we all laugh in relief and celebration. We made it to the clouds. Luffy yells as we reach the clouds, enveloping us in a deep fog. Luffy runs to the figurehead and sits as the current becomes more challenging as we get closer to the peak. I look up and see the top of the mountains as we make it out above the clouds, where the spits of water turn to ice from the freezing temperature. Awesome, he exclaims with joy. We got above the clouds. I look up, seeing the peak in all its glory, the spits of water turning into ice, making a fantastic display. Look, the mountain peak. It's the peak. Nami shouts as we make it to the peak and fly over the water in the air. Yahoo! The goofball cheers and laughs, and I grab onto the railing, waiting for the drop seconds later, with everyone floating in the air as the ship drops into the water below. I let go as everyone falls back onto the Going Merry, and we sail down towards our path for the Grand Line as we move towards the clouds. One Piece. Warship Island Arc 3rd POV. Everyone stares ahead, thinking about what the Grand Line can bring them. The Hawk is here. Zoro thinks as he knows he must become stronger to win it out with the world's greatest swordsman and win. Getting closer to All Blue, Sanji hopes their journey along the Grand Line brings them to the All Blue. A complete map of the world, Nami smiles as she imagines all the islands they will see on their adventures. To prove I'm the sea's bravest pirate, Usopp thinks as he imagines the praise of adoring people, though deep inside, he's terrified of what the Grand Line holds, and he looks at Dakota as she picks at her nails, deep in thought. To avenge my mother and find the bastard who did it, I'm going to find you, Dakota thinks as she picks at her nails, trying to calm her temper. I can see it, the greatest ocean in the world, Grand Line, and somewhere ahead, One Piece is waiting. Let's go! Luffy yells, and I laugh as we sail down towards the Clouds Point 3 Road POV. Everyone stares ahead, thinking about what the Grand Line can bring them. The Hawk is here. Zoro thinks as he knows he must become stronger to win it out with the world's greatest swordsman and win. Getting closer to All Blue, Sanji hopes their journey along the Grand Line brings them to the All Blue. A complete map of the world, Nami smiles as she imagines all the islands they will see on their adventures. To prove I'm the sea's bravest pirate, Usopp thinks as he imagines the praise of adoring people, though deep inside, he's terrified of what the Grand Line holds, and he looks at Dakota as she picks at her nails, deep in thought. To avenge my mother and find the bastard who did it, I'm going to find you, Dakota thinks as she picks at her nails, trying to calm her temper. I can see it, the greatest ocean in the world, Grand Line, and somewhere ahead, One Piece is waiting. Let's go! Luffy yells and laughs as we sail down towards the clouds. Dakota's POV. I watch as we sail rapidly towards the cloud coverage, and it's not too long till we reach the clouds, and they envelop us in a deep fog again. This is the greatest, Sanji yells over the loud rushing noise as we get closer to the end of the cloud coverage, and I hear it. Laboon. He's calling out for them again. Crap. No, I keep muttering, praying that Laboon isn't in the way again. Did you hear something just now? Zoro asks, and I keep muttering to myself. Huh? What? Nami asks from next to me. I just heard a strange noise, he repeats himself. Must have been the wind, she replies, and I shake my head. There's a lot of strange rock formations here that could have caused it. Then Laboon calls out again and becomes slightly more visible at the top of the clouds. What's that? Usopp asks, and I grip the railing in front of me. Nami-san. I see a mountain ahead, Sanji calls from the mast behind us. A mountain? There can't be, Nami yells up to him. But I see it right there, he yells down. Who cares, Luffy shouts from the figurehead. Let's go. After the twin capes, there should be nothing but ocean, Nami yells, and we clear the clouds, and Laboon is right there, clear as day, entirely in the way. Everyone shouts as we speed towards the giant island whale in the way. It's not a mountain, Sanji screams as we sail closer. It's a black wall, Luffy shouts. You're wrong, it's, Nami begins, but Zoro cuts in before she can. Then what is it? Zoro cuts in, but before she can answer, I do because I know this damn whale. It's a whale, I scream, and Laboon lets out another agonizing scream of pain, calling out for his lost friends. WW, what do we do? Usopp yells as we get closer. Fight it, Luffy suggests, but that won't do anything. Idiot, we can't fight something like that. Nami snaps at Luffy angrily, scared for her life. TTT, the current's taking us right at it. What are we going to do? Usopp cries out in fear. Wait a minute. We've gotten this close, but it still just looks like a wall. So where's its eyes? Sanji asks, and I shake my head. That won't matter if we're drowning. You're right. It may not have noticed us yet. Nami pieces it together, and they're right. But Laboon isn't interested in us anyway, just getting through the red line. At this rate, we'll hit it dead on. Oi, there's an opening on the left. Port. Hard to port, Zoro shouts, and I run into the kitchen to see that the broken helm is still not fixed. The helm is broken. I shout back, turning away from the broken helm. We have to do something, damn it. I'll help. He yells, jumps over the railing down to the main deck, runs to the kitchen, and helps me pull the broken helm. Ah, right. I hear Luffy yell. I just got a good idea. He runs off, and I have a bad feeling about that. Luffy, what are you doing? Nami calls out after him as he opens the door below deck. Zoro and Sanji help me pull the helm, hoping we skim Laboon on the port side. I can feel the strain of the ship as we pull with all our might. Pull, pull, Sanji grunts. It won't turn, I huff as we get closer. It's no use, Zoro cries out. Don't give up, Sanji yells, and we grit our teeth as we try to move the helm. I hear Usopp screaming as we get closer to Laboon, and then the loud boom from the front cannon rocks the ship back a little. The cannon, we all shout in surprise, and the pull back from the cannon going off slows the ship down, but we still hit into Laboon, and the poor figurehead gets the hit and snaps off. The figurehead spins towards Nami and lands with a hard thud, and then Luffy yells in surprise. My special seat, Luffy shouts, and we let go of the helm sitting on the floor both in relief and annoyance at Luffy's antics. One day I'll kill him, I mutter and shake my head. The smoke clears, and the cannon has no effect on Laboon because of his massive size. I hear Nami whimper as she sits up, and Zoro gulps as Laboon stays still. Our run for it, Zoro shouts, while we can. What's wrong with it? Usopp quivers, and we get out the oars and row around Laboon to get out of the way. Didn't it notice it was hit by a cannon? Is it stupid? Sanji questions as we row furiously. Who cares? Just go. I shout as we row, and Laboon lets out a mighty cry. My ears feel as if they're bleeding as he roars, shocking the surrounding area. Ah! My ears, he shouts from the other side of the ship with Usopp. Row! Just keep rowing, Usopp shouts as the roar vibrates around us and even feels like it's going through us. We gotta get away from it, Zoro snaps as we row around close to Laboon's eye, and Luffy stands at the head of the ship behind Nami as she still hasn't got to her feet. Luffy? Nami questions him as Laboon stops his crying. Damn, you! Luffy yells at Laboon. My favorite seat, what the hell did you break it for? He rages and punches Laboon in the close eye, which definitely will not help us. You idiot, the crew and I shout at Luffy, and for a second, everything is quiet when Laboon looks down at us, finally noticing us thanks to Luffy's rash lack of thinking. It sees us, Usopp cries out in fright. How do you like that? I'll kick your ass, jerk. Luffy shouts to Laboon, and Usopp and Zoro kick him hard, making him fall over. Shut up, dumbass, they shout at him, and Laboon makes a sound almost like he's asking us something. I look over my shoulder, and he moves so his mouth is closer to the water, and he lets out another roar, but as we're out of the way the water for now. What? Nami whines as we get sucked in closer to Laboon, who opens his mouth more, and the Going Merry gets sucked further inside. The others scream as we enter his jaws, the ship rocks, and Luffy falls overboard. "Luffy!" we shout after our captain. "Gotta move!" Luffy shouts and stretches out his arm, catching onto the side of Laboon. "I'll get him!" I yell and run to the side of the ship. "Demon shift!" I jump off the boat and hear the others shout out, but I shift in midair and find myself on the side of Laboon, on Luffy's back as he climbs the side. "We're not dying here," Luffy snaps as he climbs the side of Laboon, swallows the ship inside, closes his mouth and begins to submerge under the water. We make it to the top of Laboon. Luffy is out of breath, and I sit next to his panting self as he sits to catch his breath. What do we do? Everyone was eaten. Luffy wonders, gets to his feet, and decides punching Laboon on the head will work. "Oi, oi, stupid. Spit everyone up. Spit them up, give them back. Give them back. You damn." Laboon seems to have enough of Luffy punching him and submerges faster to escape the idiot. "Asshole, going underwater. Stop, oi. Stop it, oi. Wait, give me back my nakama, oi," I said. "Stop, we're going on an adventure together. They're important to me. Give him back." Luffy keeps shouting. I slap the back of his head, take the nape of his shirt, and drag him to the door Crocus put on Laboon's back some time ago. I open it with one hand as I keep Luffy and me. Thankfully, as Laboon fully submerges, I huff as I close the doors, not letting any water in, and I wonder what the others are doing right now. One Piece. Reverse Mountain Arc Zoro's Pav. I stare at our surroundings, and it looks like we're still outside, though the liquid underneath the ship is green. I can't understand what is happening and where Luffy and Dakota are gone. I need to keep calm for the sake of the others, but I fear for Dakota and Luffy and what kind of trouble he's got her in. "What do you think?" Nami asks out of the blue as we all stare around us. "What do you think?" you say. I echo as I look at the small island that floats in the center before us. "It doesn't matter what you think. We clearly just got swallowed by a whale," the stupid love cook says as he stands behind me with Nami and Usopp in shock. "Is this a dream?" Usopp wonders, and I have to agree. "Yeah, probably a dream." I agree, and I hope Dakota and Luffy are okay wherever they are. "Ah, so the house on that island?" Nami asks. "An illusion?" I reckon, and something significant bursts out of the water, revealing a giant squid breaking through the surface before us, rocking the green water. "Ah, and this?" Nami asks and then freaks out with Usopp. "A giant squid." They both scream, running away as Sanji and I stay behind to fight the giant sea creature when 3 harpoons shoot through the squid, which falls back dead, creating a large splash. "Looks like someone's home," I comment with a smirk. "Better hope it's a person," Sanji replies. "No more. I want to go home." Nami cries from shock and fear. "If Luffy and Dakota were here, they'd know what to do," Usopp cries, and Nami looks at him, mentioning our captain and assassin's names. "Oh yeah, are Luffy and Dakota alright?" Nami wonders, and I can't help but think Dakota is keeping Luffy out of some trouble already. One Piece. Reverse Mountain Arc Dakota's Pav. We land in the tunnels throughout Laboon, thanks O Crocus, and Luffy looks around in confusion as I walk over to him. "What's this? Why does this whale have a door and now a passageway?" Luffy asks, and I walk past him to the stomach where the ship should be. "Because this whale is trouble and too large to take care of from the outside," I tell him, and he yells after me as he chases me down. One Piece. Reverse Mountain Arc Nami's Pav. I sit behind the others with Usopp on his feet next to me, trying to say something as someone walks out of the tiny house. Shoot it," Usopp shouts out of fear. "Blast the island with the cannon." "No, hang on a sec. Someone's coming out," Sanji says, and I see the person in the doorway of the tiny house. He picks up the rope, hulls the giant squid, and walks out of the house, revealing an older man with flower petals around his silver hair and colorful shirt. "It's a flower." "Flower?" Zoro mutters, unsure of what it is or who it is. "My mistake. It's a person." He corrects himself, and I get to my feet, walking over to the 2 brutes at the front of the ship with Usopp next to me. "What's up with that guy?" Usopp wonders. "That old man just killed the giant squid," I comment as we watch the man. "Was he fishing or was he saving us?" Sanji questions, and the older man looks at us strangely and walks to a lounge chair. He watches us as we watch him with an intense air around him. He sits down and takes the newspaper as if we're not there. Say something, asshole. Sanji rages at him, and the man looks up coldly from the paper. We'll fight you if that's what you want, jerk. We've got a cannon right here. Usopp yells from the other side of the ship, and I look over my shoulder at him, sigh to myself, and look back at the older man feeling a tenseness in the air. Don't. Or someone will die. The older man says with such seriousness in his voice, and I shriek with Usopp clinging onto each other with fear. And who would that be? Sanji asks him. Me? The older man answers, angering Sanji. You freakin', he snaps at him, and Zoro pats him on the shoulder, moving him to the side. Hey, don't get pissed off. Zoro tries to calm him down. Playing with me, the cook mutters under his breath, and Zoro pulls him behind him as he moves forward. Old man, tell me, where are we? And who are you? Zoro asks, and another tense aura comes from the older man. If you want something from someone, it's proper manners to introduce yourself first, the older man tells Zoro. Yeah, that's right. He agrees, seeming put off. My mistake. My name is Roro. He gets cut off by the old man. I am Crocus. I am the keeper of the Twin Capes Lighthouse. I am 71 years old, Gemini, blood type AB. The older man angers Zoro, who tries to cut him, and Sanji holds him off. Can I kill him now? The swordsman shouts at us. Hey, cool off, Sanji tells him. You want to know where you are? You come to my one-man resort and then yell such rude things at me. Do you think you're inside a rat's stomach? Crocus asks us, seeming quite annoyed at us, and Usopp looks around, quivering. So we really were swallowed by the whale. But this doesn't look like the inside of a whale. Usopp comments, and I start freaking out. Hold on, what's gonna happen to us? I don't want to be digested, I cry out in fear, clutching my face, and Crocus does the weird tense stare at us again. Stop doing that, we shout at him. Can't you appreciate a good running gag? Crocus asks us. A gag? We yell at him. As for the exit, it's over there. He tells us and points to a large steel door that looks like it's standing in the middle of the sky. We can leave. We shout at him, and I run to the ship's side to look closer. Hold on a second. What's an exit doing in a whale's stomach? And why is that door in the sky? I ask as Usopp and I look over the side of the ship. Wait. Look carefully. The sky, the clouds, even the seagull, it's all a painting. It's all painted on the whale's stomach, Usopp explains, and I see it now, but I can't believe it is true. I like having fun. Crocus cuts in from his lounge chair. Just what the hell are you doing here? He finally snaps, trying to climb off the ship to beat the crap out of the older man like the other two. It's okay, just leave him alone, Zoro tells him, placing his hand on Usopp's shoulder and pulling him back. Now what? Sanji asks. Nami, there's the exit. Let's just get out of here. He orders as he is the first mate. Alright, I agree, and before I can even move, something makes a loud smash from what seems like far away, and the green liquid rocks create large waves. I hold onto the side to keep myself steady as the rest of us and the liquid seem affected by whatever the whale is doing. Now what? Sanji questions. He started again. I hear Crocus mutter, and L look over at the small island and point over, looking over my shoulder at Zoro. Look at that. I call out, and Zoro stops looking up and looks at the island to see it moving with the stomach acid. That's not an island, it's a ship, and it's made of iron. You're right. That must mean that this ocean is made of stomach acid, Usopp finally catches on. So if we stay here too long, we'll get digested, Sanji concludes. Oi, started, what? Explain, Usopp shouts over to Crocus over the crashing waves. This whale, Laboon, has stared ramming himself against the red line. Crocus explains, and there's another smash from outside, and the stomach acid crashes hard against the walls. What? Zoro and Sanji yell. Now that you mention it, I realize and remember our first encounter with the giant whale. This whale had some huge scars on its head. And it was bellowing to the sky. What are you saying? Usopp asks me. It's in pain, I exclaim, and another set of smashing comes with the stomach acid crashing around. I get it. So the old man's plans, he jumps to the same idea I have. Probably, I answer him. He's trying to kill the whale from inside its body. Well, Crocus mutters to himself. What a horrible way to kill now that we've solved this mystery. Let's get out of here. Our ship's going to dissolve if you just stand there complaining. Zoro says to us. Well, the whaling business doesn't bother me, and I don't feel like saving this one. Let's get out of here. Sanji says, and I can't help but dislike what he's saying, but maybe it's too late for this poor whale. The sound of crashing happens again, making the stomach acid crashes around us, rocking the ship. Shit. The waves are too strong. We won't be able to get to the exit like this, Usopp yells over the crashing waves. We gonna have to try rowing. Take the oar, Zoro orders the others. We have to get out now. We have to find out what happened to Luffy and Dakota, I yell at the boys. They're outside. I saw Luffy get thrown up to the side of the whale's mouth. Dakota followed. Zoro tells us, and I sigh in relief, hoping they're safe. I see Crocus dive into the stomach acid. The old man jumped in. I yell and point over to where the older man jumped in. Why'd he do that? He'll be digested. He comments as the whale smashes its head against the red line, causing more waves and rocking the ship. One Piece. Reverse Mountain Arc Dakota's POV. Laboon continues to crash into the red line, making it very difficult to move around. Luffy keeps flying around fast towards the stomach, which is good. Still, I can't keep up as I continue to shift each time Laboon crashes, causing the pathway to shake. WY. Luffy yells as he hits the four walls, and I phase behind him. Spinning, my eyes are spinning. He yells as he falls through the exit towards another more extensive pathway with a water flow. I shift behind him, spooking him as he yelps in fright as he gets to his feet. Now, where are we? He asks me. An ocean, a river, a pipe. We're getting closer to the others. I vaguely answer when Laboon seems to move his tail up, and it tilts slowly, and we lose grip and fall towards our destination. One Piece. Reverse Mountain Arc Usopp's POV. I see the old man pop out of the water towards a metal ladder. Oi, the old man's coming up. I shout out to the others, notifying them. Just ignore him. We have to figure out how to open the door. Zoro tells me, and I watch the older man climb the ladder. One Piece. Reverse Mountain Arc Dakota's POV. I cling onto Luffy as we fall, and he yells in my ear, making it ring when it becomes steep, and I catch my feet and skid down like a slide as Luffy runs forward next to me, still keeping a hold on the idiot. I can't stop, Luffy keeps yelling as he runs. What is that voice, Mr. 9? I hear a woman's voice from below. I don't know, Miss Wednesday. A man's voice replies, I guess Mr. 9, and I recognize the names from two places. We get closer to the door, and two people stand in our way. Luffy continues to scream, and the two in front of the door call as we get closer and crash into the two, opening the door. One Piece. Reverse Mountain Arc Third POV. Luffy, Dakota and the two bounty hunters crash through the door that leads into the stomach. They make it a few feet into the abdomen before falling towards the acid. Crocus hears the screams from the fore above him and sees the two bounty hunters and Dakota with an unknown boy who looks eerily familiar. Them again. Crocus huffs, and the crew on the Going Merry see their captain and Dakota among the falling. Oh no, Miss Wednesday, below us is a huge sea of digestive juice. Mr. 9 screams along with Miss Wednesday. Luffy? Dakota? Zoro questions as he sees the four fall past the ship. Yo, you guys are all okay. By the way, save us. Luffy calls out to his crew as he takes Dakota's arm, and they fall into the stomach acid as Crocus makes it to the top of the door the four crashed through before. Luffy and Dakota caught up with us, but they brought a couple of weirdos with them, Usopp comments as the boys look over the side of the ship. Hey, the old man's gone. Nami yells out, finally noticing that Crocus has left. Who cares? Zoro yells back at her, not seeing the significance. We have to help Luffy and Dakota. He says that as the two morons sink to the bottom, Laboon crashes against the red line. One Piece. Reverse Mountain Arc Crocus marches through the passageway as Laboon smashes his head against the rock face. Stop it, Laboon. Crocus orders the giant whale, though he can't hear him and makes it to the room with empty barrels and a large needle with a sedative to calm the massive creature. Stop giving yourself these terrible wounds. There's just a bit of sedative left. I'll have to make more later. Crocus injects the tip of the needle into the flesh, pinching Laboon enough to feel. This wall is the wall that separates the oceans of the world. It won't break no matter how hard you hit it, Laboon. The sedative takes effect, and the creature calms, finally stopping in his pursuit. One Piece. Reverse mountain arc. The others notice the change in the whale's behavior inside the stomach. It's calm. The whale's calmed down. Nami announces as Zoro and Sanji get up from the stomach acid, hulling Dakota, Luffy and the two bounty hunters. Looks that way. So, Zoro says and turns to the others with Dakota walking over, having changed clothes into black leather jeans. A black crop top with skeleton hands over her breasts and a jacket to cover it. Dakota sees Luffy sitting on the side above the two bounty hunters and Sanji, who is cooing at the blue net. We saved your asses. Now, who are you? Miss Wednesday looks to her side at Sanji as he looks at her with a dopey look, causing her to flinch away. Mr. 9, these are pirates, she whispers to her partner. I can see that, Miss Wednesday. He replies, and they look around at the crew. But I think we can convince them, probably. Are you two scoundrels still here? Don't make me repeat myself. As long as I'm alive, you won't lay one finger on Laboon. Crocus warns them, and they look at him standing in the small doorway. Oh, he's back. Usopp states. Who's the old guy? Luffy asks, and before Dakota can answer, Miss Wednesday giggles, catching their attention as she gets to her feet, clutching her weapon along with her partner Mr. 9. You may say that, but we cannot retreat, Miss Wednesday says. Killing this whale is our mission. We won't let you interfere with our whaling anymore. We'll rip a hole in its stomach, Mr. 9 exclaims, and the two are ready and aim their guns over their shoulders. Let her rip, baby. Roger, Miss Wednesday yells, and they fire their guns. Two cannons shoot out towards the stomach wall. Crocus, seeing them, runs and jumps off the ledge. Crocus growls as he jumps to stop the cannons, which explode in contact with his body. The thick dark clouds of smoke from the explosion, and Crocus falls. That old man stopped the shots himself, Usopp yells in shock. He actually protected the whale. Sanji joins in with his shock. Of course, he would. Dakota snaps, and they look at her, but Miss Wednesday laughs her shrill laugh before they can say anything else. Cease your pathetic resistance, Miss Wednesday yells at the older man. If you want to protect it that badly, just try that again. The whale is going to feed our town, Mr. 9 says with Miss Wednesday, laughing as he says this, and he joins her. Crocus lands in the stomach acid, poorly injured from the explosion as he bobs in the green liquid. What's going on? Nami wonders, and Luffy has enough of the two bounty hunters laughing in glee and smashing their heads together, knocking them unconscious. Luffy? Usopp asks cautiously, looking at the two unconscious bodies. Don't know why. Just had to hit them, Luffy says with a mean look on his face. If you didn't, I certainly would. Hurting poor Laboon. Dakota growls, gaining the attention of her fellow crew members. Hey, Crocus, get your butt over here, she yells, and he snaps out of it, hearing a familiar voice he hadn't heard in a little over a year, and he swims over to his mini Iron Island. One Piece. Revers climbs up to his lounge chair and sees Dakota and the rest of the Straw Hat crew joining him with the two unconscious bounty hunters tied together on the ground, and he sits, getting comfortable. You helped me immensely. By why? Crocus asks Luffy, unsure why, though he has no doubt it has something to do with Dakota. I didn't help you. Just didn't want to see that, Luffy tells him bluntly. Oi, Luffy. Dakota scolds her little brother. Hey, what's the deal with those guys? Nami asks Crocus, unsure what the situation seems to be. And what are you doing inside this whale? Cut it out, Usopp tells Luffy as he tries to pry him from the palm tree with no luck. Oi, Luffy, quit it already. What do you think you're doing? It's stupid. These two scoundrels are from a nearby town. They want the whale's meat. Laboon could feed their town for 2 or 3 years. Crocus explains what the two bounty hunters are up to now. Laboon? Nami asks, having heard the name a few times and not just from Crocus. That's this whale's name. He's an island whale. They inhabit West Blue, the largest species of whale in the world. How could I let him become food? There's a reason why he continues to bash his head against the red line. And why he faces Reverse Mountain and bellows, he explains, leaving a little mystery, though Dakota already knows, having heard the story before. A reason? She asks him, intrigued. Yeah, this whale. You see, he's a whale with the heart of a person. And he's been earnestly waiting for a certain group of pirates for 50 years, the older man tells them. You'll hear it now. This is Laboon's story. Crocus begins the story by informing them of the pirates who came to the Grand Line 50 years ago with a small island whale. I was taking care of the lighthouse, as usual, that day, when a group of jolly pirates came down from Reverse Mountain and into the Grand Line. Swimming alongside their boat was a small whale. That whale was Laboon. Island whales like him only inhabit West Blue. They're the largest species of whale in the world. It appeared Laboon had been traveling with the pirates for quite some time. But they were now headed into the dangers of the Grand Line. They thought they had left him behind in West Blue, but Laboon had followed them. Island whales normally swim together with their nakama in pods, but to Laboon, these pirates were his nakama. They remained anchored at this cape for a few months to repair their ship. I became quite friendly with them after a while. Then, on the day they were ready to leave, he tells them as best he can what the captain of those pirates had said to Laboon. That was 50 years ago. 50 years? Sanji echoes, and Dakota scoffs, having heard the story some years ago. Laboon's been waiting for those guys for 50 years? Usopp asks wide-eyed. So that's why he's bellowing, and he's ramming it to reach the other side of the wall, Nami guesses. Yes, Crocus answers her. Can we get out of here, please? Dakota cuts in, and the others look at her. Crocus gets up from his lounge chair and jumps onto the ship. She waits for the others, and they set off out of the stomach. One Piece. Reverse Mountain Arc. Dakota's POV. We sailed through the large pipe Luffy and I were in earlier, with Crocus leading the way. This water pipe is incredible. Surprising, he's still alive with such a big tunnel in him. Zoro wonders aloud from next to me. Is this more of your having fun? Sanji asks Crocus. This is my Dr. Fun. Dakota had the idea when I first met her. Crocus answers him, and the others look at me, and I shrug. I was only a kid. Doctor? Dakota? Usopp yells in surprise. I'm his doctor, after all. A long time ago, I ran a clinic here on this cape. I was even a ship's doctor years ago. He tells them, and I remember Dad telling me when I first met him about how he would fix him up, and Mum would yell at him for starting a fight. Really? Well then, be my ship's doctor? Luffy tells him, and I shake my head as he sits at the front where the figurehead used to be. Don't be stupid. Unlike you 6 young ins, Crocus replies, stopping his little island at a ladder and climbing up. I don't have the energy to go around doing foolhardy things anymore. A doctor, Nami mutters. So that's why you're living inside the whale, Sanji asks him. And this is all a result of your medical treatment, she says, and Crocus makes it to the top and turns around to face us. That's right. When they get this big, there's no way to treat him from the outside. He tells them, and he walks over to the exit gears. Here we go. He begins opening the door, and we slip out. One Piece. Reverse Mountain Arc. We're out. Luffy shouts in celebration. It's the real sky. We make it over to the cape with Crocus Lighthouse. But 50 whole years? Those lousy pirates sure are making him a long time. Usopp complains as we drift over. Idiot. This is the Grand Line. Why? No. They're dead. No use waiting on them anymore. Sanji says, and he's right from what I found out, though I don't know if I should tell Laboon. He was heartbroken before, he may be worse off knowing. That's for sure since it's already been 50 years. I guess that shows just how terrible and chaotic this unexplored ocean is going to get. Nami comments as we stand around the figurehead that Luffy sits on, and Usopp runs over. How can you jerks say such heartless things? You don't know that they might still come back. It's such a good story. A whale that continues to believe in his Nakama's promise, ain't that right, old man? Usopp scolds the others and asks Crocus. Yeah. But the truth is crueler than you can imagine. It was all part of their plan. Those guys ran away, from the Grand Line. Crocus tells the others, but I now know better. No way, so, they actually left the whale behind? Usopp asks and looks behind us to Laboon. They tried to run away from the Grand Line. That means they would have had to cross the calm belt, right? Nami asks Crocus. Even if by some chance they are alive, they would never return to this place. The season, the weather, the ocean currents, even the winds, They all go around in unpredictable patterns. Common logic is worthless in this ocean. The terror of the Grand Line quickly overwhelms the weak of heart, he explains. So those weak-hearted shitheads, without a thought for your life or their promise, packed up and hightailed it out of the ocean. Sanji summarizes, but he's wrong. They just abandoned the whale? And he's been waiting 50 years for them to come back for him? That's so cruel? Usopp voices his outrage at dead men. But if you know this, why haven't you told him? The whale understands human speech, right? Nami asks him. I did tell him. All of it. But he refused to listen. That night Laboon faced Reverse Mountain and bellowed for the first time, and began battering himself against the red line. He still believes they'll return from the other side of that wall. He just won't listen to the truth. Crocus says, and I sit down on the floor, hating the idea of Laboon suffering any longer, waiting for people who just won't return. What a whale! Sanji pulls out a wisp of smoke from his cigarette. Even when there's no point in waiting, Usopp sighs. If there was no reason to wait, he would have listened to me. More than anything else, he is afraid of losing his reason to wait. His home is in West Blue. And yet, there's no way home for him now. All he wished for was to continue being Nakama with the men he followed here, he continues. You know, he may be in this pitiful state, but you were betrayed too, right? Sanji asks the older man and takes a drag from his cigarette. It's not really your problem anymore, is it? Looks at the scars on his head. If he keeps ramming it against the rocks like that, without a doubt, he will die. We may have a strange relationship, but it's been 50 years. I'm not going to watch him kill himself. Crocus tells them, and out of nowhere, Luffy rips the mast and runs tow, catching the attention of the others. What's that moron doing now? Sanji wonders. Can't take your eyes off him for a second. Zoro scolds as the idiot runs up Laboon's back towards the head. Looks like he's going mountain climbing, Sanji comments. Gum flower arrangement. Luffy shouts and thrusts the sharp end of the snapped mast into an open wound on Laboon's head. That's the mast, isn't it? Zoro questions as he watches his arms crossed over his chest, which I can't stop looking at since we met. Yup. Right off our ship. Sanji replies, standing next to him, between Zoro and Usopp. That's our mainmast. Usopp points out. Quit breaking the ship. Laboon tears up from the pain and smashes his head down, creating a massive wave rocking the ships. Laboon shakes around, trying to eliminate the pain as he cries, making harsh waves. What the hell did you do that for? We scream at the goofball as he swings from the mast atop Laboon and thrashes around. Laboon seems to have enough and jumps out of the water and heads for one of the capes head first, crashing in, trying to dislodge the mast and shaking Luffy off. Hey, boy! Crocus shouts out to Luffy in anger and worry. It's okay, I shout back as I hold onto the railing, keeping a good grip. He won't die even if he gets crushed. Laboon gets back into the water and tilts his head back, letting out a noise of frustration, and Luffy seems okay as he sits up. He looks pleased with himself. Laboon smashes into the rock face and crushes Luffy, who jumps out of the way, but Laboon swats him with his tail, making him fall back onto the cape. Luffy gets up and stretches his arm, punching Laboon in the eye, in pain. Laboon closes his eye and headbutts Luffy into one of the lighthouses. What's he thinking? Usopp wonders, and I have some ideas. As Luffy gets up and jumps, punching Laboon in the head a couple of times, Laboon catches him and throws him back into the lighthouse wall, cracking the stone, and he seems to go limp. Luffy? Zoro calls out to him in worry, and I jump onto the railing, hoping the idiot moves. What the hell are you doing? Laboon goes in, ready to headbutt him, getting closer, and I see a smirk make its way onto my dopey brother's face. It's a draw, Luffy shouts, and it stops Laboon from his rampage as he seems to calm down, and the idiot gets to his feet with a grin, putting my father's straw hat back on. Pretty strong, ain't I? You wanna beat me, don't you? Our battle isn't over, so we're going to have to fight again someday. Your Nakama may be dead, but from now on I'm your rival. We'll fight again someday to decide which of us is the strongest, once we're finished sailing the Grand Line. I'll be back, then we'll finish our fight. Luffy vows, and it brings Laboon to tears. I shake my head at the idiot and smile. Laboon tilts his head back and lets out a happy bellow. I am glad to hear something pleasant from him finally. One Piece. Reverse mountain arc. I get off the ship and stand next to Luffy as he smiles at Laboon, who seems to notice me and lets out a coo. I rub my hand against his cracked skin and smile as the others join us. Sis, you got any paints aboard? Luffy asks me, and I shake my head, signaling no. No, I don't, and I didn't get any paints to replace them at Logatown, I tell him, and he huffs. But I might have some inside Crocus Place, I tell him, and I walk over to the lighthouse door. Walking inside. One Piece. Reverse mountain arc. I walk to the storage closet knowing Crocus wouldn't touch my art supplies that I had left here some time ago, and I pick them up, checking nothing is missing, and I pick up a large pot with a set of paintbrushes inside. I stop seeing the portrait I painted a few years back of Roger's old crew. I see my parents in the midst of them, with my father's bright red hair and mother's vibrating blonde hair standing out to only me. I've met all of them except for the man himself, Gold D. Roger. I wish I could tell him how his son has grown up to be a fantastic man. One Piece. Reverse mountain arc. I walk out of the stone lighthouse to see the others all standing with Crocus in front of Laboon, and I place my art supplies on the ground in front of Luffy, but before he can touch the paintbrushes, I slap his hand away, causing him to pout. Last time you painted something it looked like a nightmare come to life. Do you want me to paint it? I ask him, and he nods his head. Sure, sis, you've always had the arty touch, Luffy says, and I nod, taking a paintbrush from the pot and begin to paint on the front of Laboon. I wipe the sweat away from my forehead. I look at my artwork of our crew's symbol with Luffy in the middle. Looking good. This is our fight promise, so until I get back, don't go hitting the wall and rubbing the mark off, Luffy tells Laboon, and he makes a noise of agreement. Yosh. I finish putting away my painting supplies and then clean the paint from my hands before going onto the ship. One Piece. Reverse mountain arc. I put my art supplies in my and Nami's room under my bed for safekeeping, see a paint spot on my jacket, and take it off, leaving me in a black crop top with skeleton hands over my breasts. One Piece. Reverse mountain arc. I walk outside to see Nami and Sanji standing up on the landing by Nami's orchard, and Usopp seems to be fixing the ship. He stops and looks over at the two. What happened to those two guys? Usopp asks them, and I walk off, not caring, and jump over the side onto the red rock face. One Piece. Reverse mountain arc. I walk over to the wooden table with Nami as she plots our course. I feel like I have forgotten something, but I shrug it off for now and continue reading my book. All set. Now to start planning our course through the Grand Line. Nami says, and after a brief pause, she shrieks, alerting us to her distress. I look up over the pages of my book to look at her. What the hell, you're so loud, Luffy complains from over with Laboon, and Sanji climbs up the ladder to us with plates of food and Usopp behind him. What is it, Nami-san? If it's food you want, never fear, Sanji exclaims with his usual gooey look. Food, Usopp cheers as he reaches the top. The compass is broken, Nami yells, and I look down to see the compass needle spinning around, never stopping. It won't point in a single direction. Oh, she's right. He agrees as the boys, minus Zoro, crowd around me, looking down at the compass. Round and round it goes. Dakota, I'm disappointed in you. I would have thought you'd have told them by now. Crocus scolds me, and I sigh. They could have thrown their lives away if you didn't tell them. I was getting to it. It's not like they asked me about the Grand Line or anything, and I thought hands-on experiences would do them some good. I argue and place my book down, though I try to avoid the scolding look. Tell them. He orders, and I nod, submitting. This ocean has no common logic to it. That compass isn't broken. I tell, and Nami looks at me as if getting it a little. Then, could it be a magnetic field? She asks, and I nod, confirming her theory. That's right. The islands of the Grand Line are abundant with minerals, causing abnormal magnetic fields along the entire line. What's more, the winds and currents here are completely unstable. As the navigator, you must realize how insurmountable this is. I explain everything I've learned while exploring and traveling the Grand Line. You're right, we'll be doomed if we don't have any way to determine our direction. I didn't know that. My bad, Nami laughs, blushing a little as she somewhat apologizes to the others. Oi, this is bad. How are we gonna make it? Usopp demands answers. Hold it, you guys. Would you please be quiet for a second, she rages at the boy. Navigating the Grand Line will be impossible if you don't have a log pose, I tell Nami, and she looks slightly confused. Log pose? She echoes. I've never heard of it. It's a unique compass that memorizes a magnetic field, I explain simply. A strange calm-sounding muffled. Yeah, they have a very distinct shape, I reply, and he pops a log pose in my face with a purple band. Like this? He asks me. Yeah, like that, I answer, giving him a strange look. If you don't have this log pose, sailing the Grand Line will be impossible. I see. But, hold on a second. Nami says and turns to the eating boy. Luffy? She punches him hard in the face. Why the hell do you have one? She demands, and he falls to the ground. Those two weirdos dropped it on the boat, Luffy explains, sitting back up, rubbing his head. They did? Nami asks him. Why'd you punch me? He asks her. I felt like it. She answers back. Felt like it? The dummy echoes, and she walks towards him, taking the log pose and taking a good closer look. So this is a log pose. There aren't any markings on it. Nami comments, and I smirk. The islands dotting the Grand Line obey the rules created by magnetic fields. So in order to travel from island to island, the log pose must readapt to the magnetic field at each island, and it will point you in the right direction. The truth is that there's no way to determine your exact position on this ocean. You are utterly dependent on the magnetic field memorized by your log pose. You must first choose one of the magnetic fields emanating from Reverse Mountain. But regardless of which island you choose to start from, your route will eventually join with the others into one final route. And the name of the island at the end of that route is Raftel. The final island of the Grand Line. In all of history, only one person known to have confirmed its existence was the Pirate King. The island is legendary. I explain what I've picked up over my time in the Grand Line and what my father and family have taught me. Raftel, Nami mutters, probably thinking of the final island. I've never seen it myself, but I know with Luffy, we will. So it has to be there, Usopp chimes in, looking all excited. One Piece. Who can tell? That island is the most prominent of all. But not one other soul has yet reached there alive. I tell them, and Luffy snaps, eating some of the bones of the fish. We'll find out when we get there, Luffy says, so sure of himself, and I can't help but laugh, and he lets out a puff of air. Alright, I'm full. Let's set sail. Sanji and the others finally notice that Luffy has eaten all our food. You hogged it all to yourself? Sanji rages at him. Whoa, even the bones. Usopp gasps, but that's nothing new. Growing up, it was eat everything or don't eat. The log pose, huh? This is truly precious. Our fate at sea is counting on it. Nami says as she looks at the log pose with wonder, and I smile. I guess she won't be needing mine. You freaking shitty rubber. I wanted Nami-san and Dakota. My love, I wanted Nami-san and Dakota. My love, to be the ones to eat it. Sanji yells and kicks Luffy in the stomach, sending him flying, smacking into the log pose, which shatters, leaving a shocked Nami that soon turns into rage. Why'd you do that? Luffy asks as if he doesn't know. You'd better be ready to die, shitty rubber, he growls at him. Sanji-kun? Nami calls out to him, and he stops. Yes, Nami-san. The love cook grins like an idiot, turning to face her wrath. You two, go soak your heads. She shouts at them and kicks them into the water below. That was really important, wasn't it? Usopp screams in shock. Our precious log pose. Nami whimpers, and I search my bag for my own log pose. Don't worry, I've got another one you can have. I tell them, and they look at me as I pop out my old log pose from my bag. I owe you one. Sanji and Luffy come up with the two goons with them, and we sit down as they want a favor. The two goons explain their favor in the smallest detail they're asking of us, and I don't like it one bit. Even the island sounds shaky. Whiskey Peak. Weird name. Luffy comments once the two goons finish explaining. What is it? Usopp asks them. It's the town we live in, sir, Mr. Nine answers. Don't you have your own ship? Nami asks them. Sadly, it was destroyed. Miss Wednesday laughs it off. Wouldn't that be a little too kind on our part, Mr. Nine? Considering you tried to kill that whale? She asks, getting in his face. Just who are you two? Usopp asks them. I am a king, Mr. Nine exclaims his lie, and Nami pulls on his cheek painfully. Liar. The navigator states, not taking him seriously. We cannot say, Miss Wednesday answers, seeming to struggle with this. But all we want is to return to our town. We didn't really want to do this kind of underhanded work, Mr. Nine says. But please understand, secrecy is our organization's motto. Miss Wednesday says, I know only one organization with that motto, and it's not good to get involved. We truly cannot say anything. Mr. Nine pleads with us, but I know enough. We are begging you kind people to help us, Miss Wednesday begs. We will surely repay your kindness. Mr. Nine jumps in, begging some more. Don't listen to them. Crocus cuts in with his warning. No matter what they say, they're a couple of underhanded sleazebags. The thing is, we broke this log pose and don't have another. You sure you still want to come? Nami asks them, lying to them. What? You broke it, Mr. Nine yells, and Miss Wednesday doesn't look too happy either. That was mine, you know. You made us throw ourselves at your feet when you can't even go anywhere, Miss Wednesday adds in her yelling. Oh, but Dakota is giving us another one, Nami mentions with a sly grin, and they seem to change their tune as they fall on their knees, bowing to her, which she seems to love. We throw ourselves on the mercy of your kindness, Mr. Nine begs again as they bow. Sure, you can come. Our captain agrees, which shocks the two goons as they get up, showing their surprise and the rest of us. It's called Whiskey Peak. Let's go there. Oh oi, are you serious? We just met these guys, and you're gonna bring them along just like that? Usopp protests, and I have to say my dear little brother is too trusting. It's fine. Don't worry about details like that. Luffy shrugs it off, but I won't. I'll keep an eye on them while they're with us. But the only place you can decide your course from is here at the starting point, Crocus warns him, and he has a point, but it'll not affect the goofball. If we don't like it, we'll just try again, he replies with a big grin, and I shake my head. Of course, he'd say that. I see, the old doctor mutters, probably recalling the good old days. Okay, let's get going. Luffy orders and runs over to Laboon as he stays by the coast. I made my promise to the whale. Let's get ready to leave. He stretches, and I pick up my bag from the seat. And just who are you? Miss Wednesday asks rather rudely. Me? I'm the man who's going to become the Pirate King. Luffy answers, and I see them try to hide their laughter, and I snarl at them as we make our way to the ship. One Piece. Reverse mountain arc. I stand on the Going Merry with most of the crew, plus the two idiots, as we pack everything away, and I feel like painting again. Everything's ready. Your log should be set. Did you orient it to the map? Crocus asks Nami as she stares at my old log pose. Yeah, it's pointing towards Whiskey Peak, Nami answers and comes aboard. Later, Flower Osan. Thanks for the help. Luffy yells out to Crocus. Sure, now get going. Crocus waves him off. See y'all, I'll be back. Well, set course to Whiskey Peak. Full speed ahead. Luffy orders with a big fat grin, and I set my easel up on the side for one last painting for today next to a sleeping Zoro. We all shout in agreement as we sail off. Laboon says goodbye, and I begin painting him and Luffy like I've done throughout my life as I capture moments. I look at the horizon with the sun setting and grin as I think of our adventures shortly. One Piece. Reverse mountain arc. I watch Usopp and Luffy jump up and down at the front, and I laugh as I finish the Pia-Fi, pick it up, and walk towards the others. What do you think? I ask them, showing them and watching their reactions, and they all seem surprised and happy, and Luffy picks it out of my hands. Luffy, be careful. The paint is still wet. I warn him as he looks at it carefully. Cool, is this getting added to your collection? He asks, and I nod. The others all look at me. I paint moments all special to my family and me. I tell them and take my painting from Luffy, and something drops out of my leather jean back pocket. I look down to see my worn-down journal lying on the floor. Before I can pick it up, Nami grabs it and looks inside. I know what's inside: a long list of names. Why is this full of names? I recognize a few of them. Nami comments, and I place the painting on the side and look down at the floor. It's a list of all my hits, I tell them, not looking them in the eye. I hear the pages flicking, and I look up as the others are too silent to see them all looking at me. Not in fear but something else. I guess those days are behind me now. Huh? I look at my baby brother, and he nods as he looks at the first name on my list. He hugs me close, and I hug him back. I know these people won't judge me like others will. These people are my friends, my nakama, and we have each other backs even after the short time we've had together. Dakota's POV. It's a list of all my hits, I tell them, not looking them in the eye. I hear the pages flicking, and I look up as the others are too silent to see them all looking at me. Not in fear but something else. I guess those days are behind me now. Huh? I look at my baby brother, and he nods as he looks at the first name on my list. He hugs me close, and I hug him back. I know these people won't judge me like others will. These people are my friends, my nakama, and we have each other's backs even after the short time we've had together. One Piece. Whiskey Peak Arc 3rd POV. Crocus smiles as he watches the pirate ship sail further away with Laboon and sits down before getting out a Den Den Mushi from his pocket and calling a certain male red-haired pirate. One Piece. Whiskey Peak Arc. I walk out of my and Nami's room in a warm gray woolen winter coat as it's snowing as we're further into the Grand Line. I walk out as Usopp shouts in anger as he kicks Luffy's snowman. What the hell are you doing? He screams at Luffy as he destroys the snowman, antagonizing Luffy to retaliate. Ah! Mr. Snowbarrel! Luffy cries angrily at the long-nosed sniper. How dare you! He throws himself at Usopp, head first. I watch them fight each other with a sigh and shake my head as I go back into my room. Not wanting to get hit by a stray snowball. I really don't like the snow. I wait for the two fools outside to calm down as I finish the painting of our previous adventure, looking at APIs and Grandpa Ryu and my portrait of our growing crew. And I hear the unmistakable sound of lightning and freeze for a second. I look down at my hands, seeing blood. I close my eyes as I force the memory out and stand on my feet as I run out of the room. One Piece. Whiskey Peak Arc. I walk fast to the kitchen as the wind picks up. I close the door behind me and look at our two unwanted guests shivering at the table in red blankets, not looking happy. The seasons, as well as the weather, go around randomly. It's just like what you said, Dakota. Nami says and looks at me in disbelief. I nod as I step over to the helm and feel it shift and shift the other way so we stay on course. That's how it is in the Grand Line. Miss Wednesday's comments from the table. It seems that you guys are clueless about the Grand Line. Mr. Nine adds they seem to have an attitude toward hitchhikers. Oh, be quiet, I was raised on these seas, so I know what I'm doing. I snap at them as I steer. I see. But you don't seem to understand where you're going. You don't have a log pose and yet you're steering, Miss Wednesday replies, and I look at Nami as she looks down at her log pose. We're fine. She answers, and I turn to the brunette with a smirk at her annoyed face. Yeah, I've already told her not to trust the sea, the winds, sky, waves, clouds, anything because I know what I'm doing. I smile as I steer, feeling the helm fight me back. Seems we're heading into bad water. I warn our navigator. She looks out of the window, but it seems calm. Remember, trust only your instincts if you have to. She nods as she gets out, and the weather worsens. The strong wind makes it difficult. Boys, she screams to gain their attention. She turns around, pulls our guests out of their cozy blankets, and kicks them out to help us. Brace the yard, Usopp. Take care of the lateen sail, she shouts her orders from the railing. Got it, he shouts back as he runs across the deck. Sanji-kun. Take over at the helm. Leave it to me, Nami-san, he coos as he runs up towards us. Dakota. Help stabilize the mainsail. Roger. I leave the kitchen and run towards the mainsail. You guys, I'm counting on you, she shouts at the Miss and Mr. below as I climb the mast. She's such a slave driver, Mr. Nine complains below. You have no idea, I mutter as I fasten the ropes securely. Hey, wait, the wind has changed. Usopp announces as it seems to be getting close now. The weather around us is changing so much. No way. Nami cries, and I look up to see the dark looming clouds, disappearing, clear skies replacing them, and a refreshing spring gale washes over us. It's the first spring gale, Mr. Nine announces happily as he stands with Miss Wednesday, both arms crossed, enjoying the breeze. Why? She complains about the sudden change. Don't just sleep there while the snow accumulates on you. Usopp shouts over at Zoro as he sleeps soundly as usual. I jump down as everyone runs around the deck. Luffy looks out into the waters. Hey, I saw a dolphin jump over there, let's go there. Luffy says, but I smack him over as I take my coat off, now feeling the heat. That's enough, help us out, I order him, and I look out ahead to see a large iceberg sitting in front of us. The waves are getting high. Usopp cries out as he keeps a hold of the rope ladder. Usopp, grab some rope. There's an iceberg ahead. We need to steer away before we hit it, but we're too close, I order him, and he jumps down to search for some rope. He passes some over, and I tie it around my waist safely and give him the other end. You're not going to jump over, are you? He asks me, and I nod. Nami, Sanji, steer us away from the iceberg as much as you can. I shout over to them as I hop onto the side, as we sail closer. Usopp, keep a hold of that as tightly as you can. I warn him as I climb down the ship's side as the iceberg gets closer and a fog rolls in. We get closer to the side of the iceberg, enough to leave damage if we're not careful, and I lean my legs out to touch the iceberg and push with all I've got to shove away from the side as Nami and Sanji steer the helm away too. We make it without a scratch. Usopp, pull me up. I yell up to him and feel the rope moving as he pulls me up to the side. I climb up and over to the deck. Well, that was fun. The clouds are moving fast. Nami yells as another storm rolls in. Wind's coming. It's strong. Luffy gulps as the storm clouds roll closer. It's coming. Miss Wednesday gasps as the strong winds stir up the ocean. Waves grow fast as it rains down on us. Unfurl the sails. That wind is too strong. Nami orders as she screams, the Going Merry rocking from side to side violently. If we take it directly, we'll overturn. Everyone, Sanji calls out from the kitchen. I look over as he comes out with a tray of rice balls. Eat this. Let's gather our strength. I race over as Luffy pops up and grabs a couple before joining Nami to unfurl the sails. I grab the other rope, but Nami seems to be struggling as the sail tears. Oh, crap. The sail is gonna be torn. Usopp cusses as he begins to panic. Forget about things up here. Go fix the bottom of the ship, Nami orders him. There's another part of the bottom of the ship damaged. Miss Wednesday shouts before us as she looks down into the ship's hull. Damn it, he curses as he runs over and jumps down to stop the leaking, leaving the rest of us to handle the storm. Nami continues shouting orders as we fight through the strong winds. Sanji and I switch as I keep the ship on her course as everyone fights with the elements outside. I drop to the floor, sitting against the mast as everyone else lies along the wooden floor, all of us exhausted from the weather changes, and that's when Zoro decides to wake up from his nap. Ah, that felt good. He yawns as he wakes up and gets to his feet, walking over to us. Hey, no matter how nice the weather is, you guys shouldn't be so lazy. We'd better be on the right track, he says to Nami. Shut up, you bastard, I think to myself as I glare at him, and he turns, noticing the two hitchhikers lying on the floor. Why are you guys on this ship? He asks them. I guess he was asleep when Luffy invited them. You're slow, Mr. Nine yells, seeming to have some energy, and I get up, standing, but I still need to lean against the mast. We're heading to their town right now. It's called Whiskey Peak. Luffy answers for them from the railing behind me. You mean we're taking them back? We don't owe them anything. Zoro points out, and Luffy nods. Right, we don't. He agrees with his first mate. Well, not like it matters to me. He sighs, looks down at the two bounty hunters, and kneels before them. They seem intimidated by him. Yeah, your faces say that you're thinking bad thoughts. What were your names again? He asks them. I am Mr. Nine. He answers with a stutter. I'm Miss Wednesday. She answers with a quiver. Both are scared of the swordsman. Right, something has been bothering me ever since I first heard your names. I feel like I've heard them somewhere before, or maybe not. Zoro plays with them. I smirk. They are definitely part of that ridiculous group. Well, either way. Nami steps behind him angrily and smacks him hard on the back of the head. His head hits the floor, and he bounces back in pain. How dare you sleep comfortably all this time? She seethes in anger, looking down at him. You kept sleeping no matter how many times we tried to wake you up. Zoro looks up at her angrily, but Nami doesn't have it as she keeps hitting him on the head. I pull her away, leaving Zoro in pain. I'm calm, she assures me, and I nod, letting her go. Don't let your guard down, everyone. We don't know what else might happen. She warns the others. I was finally able to realize the danger of this sea just now. I was able to understand the reason why it's called the Grand Line. There's no doubt about it since my navigation skills don't work at all. How blunt, are we gonna be okay? Usopp asks, and I hang my head at her as I can't help but shake my head at her. We'll be fine, things will still work out for sure. In fact, she says, and I move off the mast to face our heading. As she looks ahead, the fog around the island begins to lift the closer we are. Look, our first journey is over. I walk off as we continue slowly to reach the island. I once did a job here not long ago. A couple of bounty hunters were wanted by a client, and I may have been seen. I open my room door and quickly grab hold of my black crop hoodie with devil horns on the hood to hide my hair. I walk over to the ship's bow with the others looking excited at their first Grand Line island. It's an island. Luffy cheers from his favorite seat, holding onto his hat with the two bounty hunters beside him. So this is Whiskey Peak. Sanji comments, and I look at the landscape. It hasn't changed, it seems, but it's really a funny-looking island. Those cacti are huge. Luffy gasps in glee as Mr. 9 and Miss Wednesday hop onto the railing next to us in stupid poses. Well then, we'll be leaving now, Mr. 9 announces. Thanks for taking us home, honeys, Miss Wednesday adds in. If we're linked by fate, we'll meet again, he continues. Bye-bye, baby, they say their farewell. And I walk over to them and push them into the cool water, swimming towards the island ahead of us. Bye-bye, hope not to see you again. I yell after them. Nami giggles with Usopp behind me as I lean against the railing. Who on earth were they? Usopp wonders as he stares after them. Who cares, we're landing. Luffy cheers. There's a river that comes through here, so we can go inland by ship. I tell them and stop, seeing them looking at me. I may have been here a couple of months ago, I answer their unanswered question. Isn't it possible that there are monsters of things like that? Usopp asks in fear, shaking a little. Though it is possible being that this is the Grand Line, there aren't any monsters on the island, I assure the cowardly sniper. If we come across monsters, we can just leave the island. Luffy tries to assure his crew member, but it doesn't work like that. Hold on a sec. Don't forget that we have to stay on this island for a certain period of time. Nami cuts off the dream. Why? Luffy asked her as he wasn't listening again. Unless we store the magnetism of this island in the log pose, we can't go to the next island. Since each island requires a different amount of time to store the log, some islands require only several hours while others require days. She explains to the boys. Then even when we reach an island full of monsters that we want to escape from right away, it's impossible because we have to stay there for days until the log is stored, Usopp asks her. That's right. She nods, and Usopp starts to freak out. Well, we can think about that when it happens. Let's go already. Luffy cheers happily with a goofy grin. Luffy's right. Let's go. It's not worth thinking about it. Zoro agrees with our captain. No matter what happens, I'll protect Nami-san and Dakota, my love. Sanji agrees with our first mate. I can look after myself, thanks, Sanji, I tell him, and he nods with a doughy look. Hey, wait. Listen, everyone. My chronic illness is suddenly, my don't go to the island disease is. Usopp tries pulling a lie on us as he croaks from holding his neck. Then we're going in. Nami agrees, and I nod. Seems so, I agree, but Usopp groans in protest. Listen. Make sure you're prepared to run as well as fight. Nami warns them, and I look at the others. Also, they're bounty hunters, all of them, I tell them, but it's too late to explain fully. I know because I was sent here on a job. Also, they'll recognize my hair. Be aware of your surroundings. They pull you in till you're asleep and sell you off. They all look at me as I pull my hood up, tucking my hair out of my face and making sure none of it is on show as we move through the fog towards the town. Huh? Something's moving. Luffy announces as he looks into the fog. I look over to see the figure of the bounty hunters, most likely watching us. Must be bounty hunters, Sanji comments as we look out across the shore as more pop up. Everyone, be careful, Nami warns them. Remember, play into it but stay alert. I remind them, and they nod as the fog begins to clear to a crowd of bounty hunters cheering our arrival. Welcome to the Grand Line. They all cheer, waving their arms around with fake glee. Welcome to our town. Another shout from the crowd on either side of the river. To the welcoming town, Whiskey Peak. More cheers come from the crowd, and the others look in shock. But I hope they remember they're acting for their own benefit, to play us till we fall asleep. Man, they're really trying, Usopp mutters as he looks around. What's going on? Sanji wonders. They're trying to lure us in, make us feel welcomed before they capture us, I tell them from under my hood. Pirates, welcome to our town. They continue to cheer as we pass, hooray for the heroes on the sea. Whoa, there are lots of cute girls. Sanji falls under the spell of all womanizers. Sanji, they're all bounty hunters. I snap as a reminder, but it seems to go through one ear out the other. Ah, look this way, they're handsome. A flock of girls cheer. I shake my head at the idiots and look at Usopp to see him waving at them, enjoying the attention. Hey, Luffy cheers from the figurehead as we dock at the side of the main town. Remember, we stay on alert. I remind all of them, and they nod as we come to a stop and anchor. I unroll the Jacob's ladder, and we climb off slowly to see the crowd coming to greet us. One Piece. Whiskey Peak Arc. We all stand before the crowd of bounty hunters, acting like ordinary townspeople, and a guy the first remembered to be Mr. 8 walks over with his saxophone, coming to greet us. Welko. He coughs, trying to clear his throat and sort his throat out some more. Welcome. My name is Igaraboy. I'm the mayor of Whiskey Peak. He introduces himself. Okay. I'm Luffy. Nice to meet you. He replies and points at him. Pops, you went overboard on curling your hair. Whiskey Peak is a town that thrives on making liquor and music. Hospitality is the pride of our town. As for our proud liquor, it's as bountiful as the seawater. Would you allow us to throw a party for you so that we may hear your tales of? He stops to cough, needing to clear his throat again. Your tales of adventure? We'll be glad to. The three idiots cheer. I hope they remans. Idiots. Nami and I complain as we look at the three of them cheering as we three sensible ones stay behind. Say, by the way, how long will it take for the log of this island to be stored? Nami asks Mr. Mayor as she points at the log pose. Log? Forget such boring stuff. Please just rest after such a long journey. He places his arm on Nami's shoulder as he turns to face the rest of the bounty hunters. Now, everyone, prepare for the party. Sing to entertain the adventurers. He cheers along with the rest of them, and they direct us into one of the buildings bigger than the others. One Piece. Whiskey Peak Arc. The party goes on for hours. I almost had my hood ripped off, but I managed to keep it on as I sit in the corner playing another round of poker with some unhappy bounty hunters. I finish another bottle of their famous liquor, as I call, and a few of them fold as another woman flirts as she fills my cup again. I smell a sweet scent, meaning they've put something into the drink to get us drunk faster. I chug it down, it's my fourth mug, and again they fill it up. I drink my ninth mug as everyone stops to watch the competition. I smirk a little, feeling the effects of the drink. Whoa, amazing. He finished his 10th cup. A guy cheers as we watch, and another goes down next to Zoro. This girl's downing her 12th cup. Another one gasps as they watch our navigator, chugging them down quickly. Whoa, the captain finished a meal for 20 people. The cook is down. Whoa, this young man is trying to hit on 20 girls at the same time. What's with this gang? Hey, look, she cleaned out those guys. One says as they look at me as I hold my cards away and put the money in my hoodie pocket. I sit by Zoro and feel my flirty side come in as I am drunk. I move my hands up his muscular bicep as he continues drinking with a blush over our cheeks. This is it. I quit. I'm gonna sleep. Zoro gives in as he places the cup on the table, and I giggle a little as he falls face first onto the table. Whoa, the young man is finally down after his 13th cup. What? You're hopeless, Zoro. Nami complains, and I sigh as I run a finger lightly up his back, earning a shiver, and I take another cup full, chugging it down fast and close my eyes to pretend to fall unconscious. I wait over an hour for the party to stop as everyone on our crew sleeps. The bounty hunters turn out the lights, the so-called mayor leaves quickly outside, and I continue to wait. Another couple of minutes and the nun leaves on shaky legs, leaving us alone with a few bounty hunters. Go time, I whisper loud enough for the others to hear as the two bounty hunters talk. Zoro and I take out the two bounty hunters and tie them up. I breathe in and out, slowly trying to turn off the alcohol from all the drinks. I stop once the fuzziness settles. Nami, get all their valuables and return ours. They've probably taken them. Luffy, lose the gut and stay with Usopp until all of the bounty hunters are taken care of. There are higher numbers around here, and we'll need you later. Sanji, you go with Nami. Keep her safe. I order them, and they all nod. Zoro, we'll head to the roof. We'll have a better vantage point in the element of surprise. Stick to the shadows as best as you can. I warn them, and we split up. Zoro and I leave and head for the stairs to the roof. One Piece. Whiskey Peak arc. Zoro and I make it to the roof, though Zoro takes a few wrong turns, and I end up holding his hand as we sit on the rooftop. I look down at the 4 people on the ground below. Igarappoi is holding up Luffy's bounty poster and all 3 of them look in shock at the amount he's worth. 30 million berries? They shriek in surprise. Them? Mr. Nine's shrill voice asks. It's foolish to judge a pirate's ability based on their looks, Miss Mon. Igarappoi warns her but stops to clear his throat. Miss Monday. He puts the poster in his jacket pocket, and she apologizes sheepishly. But we've already settled. Looks like we can send a good report to the boss. Confiscate all the money and other valuables on the ship immediately. So what about them? Miss Monday asks him. Good question. What do we do? Mr. Nine asks him. If we kill them, the bounty drops by 30%. The government wants to hold public executions. He tells them, and there's a tense moment among them as they don't move from their spots. Go, capture them alive. I have to say, I announce myself, and they all look up at us in shock. The government, they do love a public execution, but you won't be there to see it. You bastards, I thought you were completely asleep, he threatens us. Swordmen never make the mistake of letting their guard down that much, Zoro says as he stands beside me and more bounty hunters crowd below us. So, let's see if we've got this right. This is the next of bounty hunters. You dupe pirates who are in high spirits after having just entered the Grand Line. I pretend to guess. Looks like there are about 200 bounty hunters here. We'll fight you all. Baroque works, Zoro promises, and I grin at the name as they freeze in shock at knowing the name of the mysterious organization. You bastards, how is it that you know our company's name? Igarappoi demands of us. When I used to be in a similar line of work, I was recruited by your company once, he tells them. Naturally, I rejected it. Same with me, but I'm already with another company that specializes in dead people, I answer. Employees don't know each other's identity and are called by cheesy code names, the SXY swordsman says, and I scoff at him. Of course, the loser boss's whereabouts and his entity are also a mystery, even to them, I add, and the looks they all give us mean we're on the money. Baroque works as a criminal group that just faithfully carries out their orders like the pathetic losers they are. Humph, was it a secret? Zoro teases them, and I giggle a little as he gives them a SXY, sinister grin. This is surprising, if you both know our secrets, then we have no other choice but to kill you too. Igarappoi snaps with venom. Another gravestone will be added to the cactus rocks. He looks away long enough for us to disappear. Teleport, I whisper, grabbing Zoro as they all seem distracted. Kill them. Mr. 8 yells as we pop up in the middle of the group, and I hear them all gasp in surprise at our disappearance. They disappeared, Miss Wednesday whispers in surprise. They disappeared. A man stutters in fear. Where the heck did they disappear to? Igarappoi asks as they look around, and 3 men spot us as I place my hand around my metal chain razor belt and take it off. It falls onto the ground with a clanging sound alerting the rest. Ah, what? They freak out as they look at us. All right then. We nod at each other as the bounty hunters around us take a step back and raise their guns at us. How dare you mock us? They snap at us in anger. Fire, they shoot, but I hold onto Zoro again. Teleport. We disappear before the first bullet can hit us and appear in another spot among the bounty hunters, in plain sight. Idiots. They shot each other. Igarappoi snaps in anger as he looks at the fallen bodies of the bounty hunters. They disappeared again. Mr. 9 stutters, his fear showing. Darn. Kill them already. It's just a single swordsman and a chain user. He snaps at the others and turns around. Zoro calmly steps over and leans against his back as he moves his blade by his ear. He stiffens in fear. Let me ask you a question. Are you sure you need to add only 1 gravestone? Zoro asks. There they are. Bounty hunters corner us with their guns drawn. Idiots, don't, are you gonna shoot me, too? Igarupa freaks out, and they click the safety off. Stop, Igarupa. He grabs something and leans back a little, and it's his sax. He blows into it, and bullets fly out. I swing the chain around, knocking away the shot so I don't get hit. Igarupa takes out a row of bounty hunters, and I jump forward to grab Zoro's hand again as I feel the effects of continuous teleporting, and we drop down a dark alleyway a little distance away from them as they try to find us. Where did those two disappear to? He snaps at the idiots, and I try to catch my breath from the continuous teleporting. Koda, you okay? Zoro asks me, and I nod, calming my breathing. Yeah, I will be. Teleporting takes it out of me a little. I can't do another one or I'll probably pass out. So that's a shotgun? That thing sure is dangerous. I comment, and he nods in agreement. If it comes down to it, we'll run. He assures me, and I nod as we watch them grow angrier, and I hope the others are sticking to the plan. One Piece. Whiskey Peak Arc 3rd POV. Inside the building, Nami watches with the others from the window, careful not to be seen by the other bounty hunters and keeping an eye on the unconscious bounty hunters in the corner. Sanji watches by her side as Usopp helps Luffy try losing weight. One Piece. Whiskey Peak Arc Dakota's POV. Where did they go? Find them. Igarupa yells at the bounty hunters, and I look at Zoro as he grabs one of his newer swords with glee. Don't hold back. We agree, and a laugh comes from above us. There you are. He yells and points his gun at us. Die? I push against the door, and it opens as he shoots at us. I pull Zoro inside, but there are more behind us. Split up, I yell and whip my chain towards the right. The two hunters cut their stomachs in the window, swallowing enough to make them fall. I jump back out of the door with the lion as he shoots, and I run down the alleyway with a hail of bullets trying to hit me. One grazes my shoulder, but I turn a corner, hiding. I catch my breath and jump up to one of the higher windows and climb inside. It's empty, and I wait for them to run past before I sneak back outside. I drop down and slice at their backs, and they fall to the floor. A blade swings towards me, but I duck down onto the ground and kick my legs out to trip them. I turn to see a woman holding the knife. I kick her up into the air as she floats for a second. I jump up and kick her in the side, sending her into the wall. I look around quickly to see if anyone is about but don't see anyone and run out into the open to see them following Zoro. I watch as a kid comes running towards him with a small dagger. I jump up the side of the building as Zoro turns and knocks the kid away gently. The kid falls to the floor and starts crying, and one of the fake nuns comes running to his safety. Lord have mercy. She prays as she cradles the child. I beg you for mercy. Lord have mercy. Please save us. She pulls out a cross, and the kid smirks as she's about to spray him. I race over and kick the woman down. The Lord doesn't have mercy, I remark as I stand over them. Otherwise, there wouldn't be people like me. I pull my hood down, allowing my hair to fall free. I hear a collecting of gasps as they look at my scarlet hair. Zoro and I climb the ladder as the bounty hunters close on us. They went further up. Corner them. They're over there. Cut them off. Go around the back. Okay. The bounty hunters all yell at one another. One Piece. Whiskey Peak Arc 3rd POV. Inside the party room, the door opens, and the two remaining pirates quickly fall to the floor as a group of bounty hunters rush through. Stepping on the pirates without a care, they leave out through the back the same way Zoro and Dakota excited, and close the door behind them. That hurt. Usopp complains about footprints scattered over him and Luffy. One Piece. Whiskey Peak Arc. In another room above the other two, Nami and Sanji search the room for valuables, but nothing of interest catches the attention of the navigator. Darn, is this all the treasure they have? She complains as she looks into a safe box with half of it empty. Some bounty hunter's nest this is. Whiskey Peak sure is a crappy town. Right you are, Nami-san, Sanji coos as he looks at the woman with hearts in his eyes. One Piece. Whiskey Peak Arc. Dakota's POV. There's nowhere to escape up there, they continue to shout as they climb up the ladders to the top. I walk over as one makes it up the final wooden ladder and kicks it hard, and it falls back. Bye bye. I wave as they fall. The ladder's falling. Zoro picks me up suddenly, causing me to let out a yelp of surprise as he jumps towards the falling ladder and over to the next building full of bounty hunters. He throws me into the air as we get closer. Ah! They're jumping over here. They panic as he gets closer. Shoot him! They start firing Zoro, but none hits him as he grins. Two-sword style. Hawk wave. He slashes his swords around in a circular motion, and I land behind him on my feet. I don't like being thrown around like that, I warn him. Sorry, he apologizes, and I nod as more bounty hunters jump from above us. They land in front of me with their guns drawn. Watch out. It's a little unstable there. I warn them and stomp my right foot into the stone roof, and the force causes a crack to appear under my foot, spreading towards the 4 bounty hunters, and it gives out on them. We begin to walk away when I see a shadow appear on the wall in front of us and duck in time as a ladder comes swinging towards us and splinters on impact with the wall. That was close. That almost got us. Zoro snaps, and I look up to see Miss Monday as she throws away the ladder and puts on a knuckle duster. I get to my feet along with Zoro. Don't try our patience. There's no man who can best my strength. Miss Monday boasts. I gotta say, I know a lot of men twice as strong as her. She grabs Zoro by the throat and dangles him in the air. This is the end of you. I don't know, I know the world's strongest man, I comment, and she falters, looking over at me. And I'm not a man. I get out my own knuckle dusters and put them on. Drop the swordsman. I don't think so, she replies, and I rush at her, elbow her in the stomach, pushing her away from Zoro. She lets him go. Impressive. I know. Superhuman brass knuckles. She yells as she punches at me. I cross my arms out in front of me, and the impact causes a cloud of dust as I dig into the roof, which cracks more under her strength than mine. I do a roundhouse kick into her side, distracting her as she grunts in pain, and I uppercut into her chin, and she falls back onto her knees. Akuma no human demon form. Agarman, fears. I place my hand over her forehead, and she opens her eyes, seeing something that deeply terrifies her and lets out a scream that cuts through the night. Miss Monday. The agents below yell up as they watch their fellow agents cry in horror. What's the matter, Miss Monday? Scared of something? I ask her, but I don't expect an answer. You're the devil, she shrieks, and I laugh with no emotion. I am. The Red Devil. I grin as I look over at the other agents. Shall we continue our little game, Baroque Works? Nice one. Shall we, Koda? Zoro asks as he wipes away the blood from his forehead, and we walk calmly towards the edge of the roof, looking down at the remaining bounty hunters. Miss Monday was overpowered. Impossible. This can't be true. Did she say Red Devil? It can't be. I heard she was captured? She's worth 35 million berries. They all whisper among themselves as they look up at us. I got it. The Marines made a mistake on that wanted poster. Mr. 8 concludes, and he is very wrong. I see. It makes sense if this guy has the 30 million berry bounty on his head. He is the real captain. And this must be the real Red Devil the way she took out Miss Monday. Mr. 9 agrees with the higher agent, but again he's wrong about Zoro. Right. I thought it was strange that such a namby-pamby guy was worth 30 million berries. Miss Wednesday agrees with the two men. But even so, how disgraceful. If we lose against one pirate swordsman and a so-called assassin, we'll be held responsible since the boss put us in charge of this town, Mr. 8 tells them. It seems that it's FGHT. She grins, but it seems a little fake. You may know this, but with members of Baroque Works, the smaller their number, the higher their level and destructive power are. Mr. 9 starts to explain. The three of us, Mr. 9, Mr. 8 and Miss Wednesday, are agents with a single-digit number, which means we're powerful people who are beyond comparison to those you just beat. Humph. Aren't titles useless when it comes to fighting? Zoro asks him. He looks down at them. The stronger one wins. That's all. Igarappa, Mr. 8 shouts as he goes to blow into his sacks, firing a hail of bullets at us. I pull Zoro back as we run for cover. Let's go, Miss Wednesday, Mr. 9 yells at his partner. Okay, Mr. 9, the Bluette replies, and we run over roofs behind one of the taller parts. Then I hear a high-pitched whistle from behind us. Zoro stops, and I look back to see Miss Wednesday on a duck. I tilt my head and grin. I think she looks familiar. What the hell is that? Zoro wonders as he looks at the creature. Can you afford to let your guard down? Mr. 9 chuckles as he catches up to us. Follow my acrobatics, if you can. He rolls down from the top roof towards us. Hot-blooded bat of guts. He pulls out 2 bats and swings one at Zoro, but he blocks one with his katana, and Mr. 9 jumps over us, landing behind us. There are metallic bats. Be careful not to chip your blades on them. Zoro grows serious as he holds up his sword with a glare. What's the matter? Are you so frightened you can't move? Zoro turns quickly and swings his blade around fast so that Mr. 9 can't seem to catch up with each swing as they step towards the edge of the roof. What happened to your proud acrobatics? The swordsman teases the moron. If you want to see it that bad, watch carefully. The juggler yells before jumping into the air and crashing into the street below. Guess he didn't see he was at the edge of the roof. Nice one. I compliment the swordsman. Thanks, don't they have anyone better? Zoro asks, and I shrug. Anyone better? That would be me, Miss Wednesday announces herself. I look over to see her standing on her duck. Be prepared, Mr. Bushido. Now, take in my allure to your heart's content. I look up at her as she reveals that she is holding a perfume bottle. Charming perfume dance. I plug my nose at the pungent stench of the fragrance, and Zoro falls to his knees from the overpowering smell of the perfume. Good boy, she purrs and gets something out of her pocket. I'll finish you off with peacock slasher. She yells as she spins the small chakram on strings around her pinky finger. Go, Kuru. She orders the duck, who cries before trotting towards Zoro and running past him. You went too far, she cries out, and the duck doesn't stop as he runs off the roof. That was entertaining. I joke as I walk over to Zoro, who smells a little of the perfume. Fighting these guys is starting to get embarrassing, Zoro complains, and I can't help but agree when I hear the off-tone sound coming from a sax and push Zoro out of the way as bullets come flying towards us, and I roll us into the hole in the stone from earlier. One Piece. Whiskey Peak arc. I fall on top of Zoro as we land on the ground, and I look into his eyes as he looks up at me. I feel myself lowering my head, our lips almost meeting, but I stop myself as I get up, allowing him to his feet, and we race out of the room into the streets. One Piece. Whiskey Peak arc. Get a good taste of how frightening I really am, Mr. 8 yells as we duck behind a building. That sax of him is a pain. How can I close the distance? Zoro complains when Mr. 9 jumps out of the destroyed crate, a little beaten up, still holding onto his bats. How dare you beat me like that earlier, you won't get away with it, he snaps at the swordsman. You fell on your own, I reply, but he doesn't seem to be listening. Home run sneaky bat. Mr. 9 yells and swings his bat in his right hand, and the top pops off, attached to a chain that wraps around Zoro's arm. I tied up one of your arms, he chuckles with glee. It's an iron chain, Zoro comments as he looks at it, and Mr. 8 turns up along with more bounty hunters. You caught him, Mr. 8 states as he watches them. Mr. 8, do it now, Mr. 9 yells as he wraps the rest of the chain around his arm. I won't let you two escape. That's right. Don't move. Miss Wednesday warns him, and I feel her wrap an arm around my throat and a knife in her other, pointed at my stomach. If you make a stupid move, I'll have to take your precious girlfriend's life as well. He looks behind us, and I narrow my eyes at their dirty tricks. Good job, Miss Wednesday. You can't escape or attack now. Mr. 8 chuckles but doesn't realize they're in more danger than we are right now. You idiots. Zoro cusses as he looks at them. Prepare to open fire, he announces and pulls the ends of his tie, and gun muzzles appear out of each roll of his hair. Preparations completed, he yells, and Zoro looks over behind us. What? Zoro shouts as he looks, and I shake my head in worry as I watch Mr. 8 loosen his thumbs through his tie's bows. Igarapapa, Mr. 8 shouts as he pulls on them, and the guns all fire towards Zoro, who draws on the chain, trying to break away. Is he a toy? He yells as he keeps pulling on the chain and pulls Mr. 9 towards him in time for the bullets to hit the acrobat, and he starts running, still holding onto the chain. I use the distraction to headbutt Miss Wednesday, and she pulls away, cradling her face. I duck down as Mr. 9 comes sailing towards us and smashes into the female agent. Igarapapa, Mr. 8 goes again, aiming down at us, and we run over. I turn quickly as Zoro runs, and I knit my fingers, and he places his foot down, and I push him up high towards Mr. 8. He slices into his chest, shallow enough to knock him down. Okay. Done, he calls down, and I jump up to join him as he walks to the roof's edge and sits looking out over the river. I join him, sitting next to him. It's finally become a quiet, nice night, I comment as I look over the town. You can hear the crickets playing their music peacefully. Yeah, it's nice. Zoro agrees and gets a bottle of wine that we share when an explosion sounds from some distance behind us. I look over my shoulder, but I don't see anything and look down into the street to see Mr. 8 struggling to claw away with Miss Wednesday and Mr. 9. I can't fall in a place like this. I've got an important mission, Mr. 8 mutters as he tries to crawl away. How pitiful, a voice cuts in, and I look over to see a man in a dark red trench coat and a woman in a lemon yellow dress. Man, do the Baroque Works agents have a terrible sense of fashion. Losing against just 2 pirates, the 3 wounded agents look up at the 2 newcomers. Mr. 5, Miss Valentine, they exclaim in surprise at the new arrivals. Are you guys kidding around? Huh? Mr. 5 asks them but doesn't care for a response. After all, this is the difference between our rank and tours, isn't it? Miss Valentine asks them another rhetorical question in a shrill voice. Did you come to laugh at us? Mr. 8 asks them with a spit of attitude. That, too, but, Mr. 5 says, and Miss Valentine gives out a shrieking laugh. Of course, we're here under our mission, she tells them, and it relieves them a little. Thank goodness. If you help us, those pirates are no match for us, Mr. 9 exhales, in some pain. That's right. Please beat those pirates right away, Miss Wednesday says, and Mr. 5 seems to find it a little funny. Huh? Enough with the bad jokes. Let's help you, Mr. 5 snaps at the lower agents. Did you really think that we'd come all the way to the end of the Grand Line for that? She points out with a sick grin. What? Then what mission did you come here for? It seems Mr. 9 asks them, clueless of the 2 people next to him with so many secrets. You really have no idea? Mr. 5 asks him to assure himself, maybe. There are criminals here that are big enough for the boss to send us here to deal with. The 3 agents look at them. Endo agents are there for. These are the boss's words. They found out my secrets. Of course, I don't even know what kind of secrets they are, but our company's motto is mystery. No matter whose identity it is, the rule is that you never nose around. If someone finds out the boss's secrets, that's, of course, a sin worthy of death. So, when we very carefully investigated who learned his secrets, she laughs shrill. Oh, boy, we found out that a VIP from a certain kingdom sneaked into Baroque Works. She explains, and I look at the Bluenet, who glares at the 2 agents. I raise my hand in the air, but Zoro stops me from doing anything. A certain kingdom? Wait a sec. Although I'm wearing a crown, I'm not a king or anything, Mr. 9 protests, and I can't help the scoff leaving my lips. It's just my hobby. We're not talking about you, Miss Valentine snaps at him. Her shrieking is getting on my last nerve. The sinners are those who are missing from the Alabasta Kingdom right now, Mr. 5 says, and Igaropoy and Miss Wednesday stand to their feet. Die! Igaropapa, Mr. 8 yells as he pulls the bow around his neck and fires at the 2 higher agents. I won't let you lay a finger on our princess, on my name as squad captain of Alabasta Kingdom Security. Thought he looked a little familiar, I mutter as I watch them. Igaram! Vivi cries out at her loyal friend. Know them? Zoro asks me, and I nod. Watch. I tell him as the cloud of smoke clears a little, leaving the 2 higher agents intact. Igaram, the squad captain of Alabasta Kingdom Security, and it's Princess Vivi Nefertari. In the name of the Baroque Works boss, we'll eliminate you too, Mr. 5 announces. This isn't good, Zoro comments as he grins while we watch the outcome. Indeed. I grin as I look at the picture Mr. 5 is holding. Igaram starts to hail bullets at the 2 of them. Come on, we should move away. I get up to my feet. And Zoro follows as we climb down the ladder behind the alleyway out of the line of sight. Igaram! I hear the princess cry out from the street as we carefully walk towards them when an explosion blows in front of us. Igaram is hit directly by Mr. 5. Igaram. It's no use, Miss Valentine laughs as she floats in the air. I watch as she comes closer to the Bluenet. She kicks out but only gets her hairpiece, letting it fall around her shoulders. Vivi gets out her chakram on strains, swirling them around her right pinky and tries going for Miss Valentine, but she moves back towards Mr. 5. "You monsters!" Vivi spits at them. "You're a princess, Miss Wednesday?" Mr. 9 asks her as he lies on the ground. "Quit being dumb, Mr. 9. She snaps at him as she turns her back on her opponent's rookie mistake. "This is one screwed up night. You guys can do whatever you want," Zoro exclaims as he drags me across the battlefield to the other alleyway. I smack his arm as we duck away from them, trying to keep out of their business as we watch what they do. Princess Vivi, Igaram moans in pain. I have to say he's a fighter. "Igaram, are you all right?" she asks him, though looking at him, he should be dead. Princess Vivi, "Never mind me. Just please, escape from here, for our homeland. Without you, our kingdom of Alabasta will be. Please, hurry," he begs her, and Mr. 5 picks his nose, gross. "You think you can escape from us?" Mr. 5 warns her as he continues to pick his nose. "Don't mess with me," she yells as she gets out another chakram on a string and swirls it around her other pinky, and Mr. 9 gets up, struggling a little, and stops her. "I'm having a hard time swallowing what's going on here, but we've been a pair for a long time. I'll buy you some time. Get going, Miss Wednesday," he tells her, and she smiles in gratitude. "Thank you, Mr. 9, pretty manly, wouldn't you say? Bye-bye, baby." He somersaults towards the higher agents with a war cry. "Hot-blooded bat." "Mr. 9," she yells after him. "All we need is the will to accomplish our missions. Apathetic sense of camaraderie will only bring you about death. Time to learn that the hard way, knows fancy. Guts, cannon." Mr. 9 and Mr. 5 finish, but before Mr. 9 can swing his bat, Mr. 5 launches his assault, sending the acrobat flying in a cloud of smoke into the river behind the shocked princess. "Mr. 9, she calls out to him, but she won't get a response, and she knows that. "Whoa, now, that's some dangerous snot he's got." Zoro marvels a little at it but is also disgusted. "Gross," I comment, and a hand wraps around my ankle. I go to kick whoever is touching me but stop when I see it's the beaten up Igaram. "What are you doing? Get off of me," I try shaking him loose. "You're an assassin, correct?" he asks me, and I nod, technically still accurate. "Sir Swordsman. Upon seeing your skills, I have a request of you both, unreasonable as it may be." "What? No way, I'm not a mercenary, I kill people, I don't help them." I pull my ankle out of his grip. "As both of those people possess devil fruit powers, I can't stop them. Might I ask you to protect the princess in my place? Please?" he begs of us, and I feel for him I do. But getting involved in their mess could be bad for us. "Only if Luffy accepts will I help the little princess. If you can safely deliver the princess to the great kingdom of Alabasta far east of here." He coughs a little. "I promise that you will be rewarded immensely. I humbly beg of you, please, keep the princess safe." "Screw that. You were trying to kill us until just a minute ago." Zoro snaps at him angrily. "Don't make me cut you some more." "Is this immense reward for real?" our money grub navigator asks him. I see her sitting up on the lower roof across the street, watching us. "I'll take up that offer. How does 1 billion berries sound?" "Really, Nami? Knowing we'll have to do it," I sigh, especially if she involves Luffy. "Oh, 1 billion B?" Igaram gasps and coughs, clearing his throat. "I thought you were collecting the valuables with Sanji," Zoro asks her, and Igaram looks between all of us. "Come on now. We've already collected everything of value, and I had Sanji put them on the ship right away. He's there now," she answers, just as Dakota asked us to do. "That's so? Not much was there?" I ask her, and she shakes her head. "Fine, go get Usopp and Luffy. We need to talk now if you're volunteering us to save a damsel in distress." "We need the captain," I tell her, and she nods. "Luffy, Usopp. Get here now," she shouts, and I hear it crash as they seem to have heard her. "I didn't mean like that." I sigh and look down at Igaram, who seems a little confused. "So, will you promise us the 1 billion, squad captain?" Nami asks him as Usopp and Luffy, still big around the stomach, jog over to us, a little out of breath. "If you don't ask for our help, your princess probably will die," she warns him, and the two argue with her wanting to know what's happening. "A mere soldier like me can't promise such large sums of money," he mutters, and Nami crouches a little before him as Usopp asks Zoro what's happening. "You're not suggesting a princess is with less than that, are you?" she asks him. "Pay it," She demands him, and Luffy scolds her a little but doesn't stop her for now. Now she's threatening him. Zoro catches Usopp up, who glares at him a little for the last bit. In that case, if you're willing to safely deliver the princess there, it would be best if you negotiate the terms with her directly, he yells, and I hang my head. Yeah, and that means we've gotta start by saving her, right? I snap at him, seeing the grin on Nami's face. Even as we speak, her life is in danger, he begs with a cough. Alright, then. I'll save your princess for now. Nami assures him, and I look at her. I mean, our captain seems to want to fight, so it's a deal, for now. Whoa, I need to hear Luffy say that first, not you. I tell her, and we all look at our big-bellied captain. Yeah, let's go. Luffy cheers, and I huff a little. Okay, fine, but we're gonna need a plan, I inform them, and they. Nami, stay with Captain Security while Usopp. You go back to the ship. Nami said Sanji should still be there. Get everything ready for a quick escape. Zoro and I will head over to find the dear little princess and try to take out the two agents when Luffy, you'll come in for a distraction. A distraction? He asks, a little confused and annoyed at being unable to fight. Well, if 3 of us go in, they'll be on their guard. You and Zoro are gonna fight to loosen them up. We'll take out the agents and get Vivi to the ship. Nami can negotiate a price once we have her. Agreed? They all nod in agreement. Good. Luffy give us a 5-minute head start and walk towards us, and look really mad. Zoro and I run after the princess and her oversized duck. One Piece. Whiskey Peak arc, man. Nami is pushing it again. Zoro spits in anger as we run after them. Agreed, but hey, least we're having a little fun. I joke, and he scoffs a little. I hear an explosion to our right and dash through one of the alleyways onto another street with Zoro fast behind me. I hear another explosion up ahead, and immense flames erupt into the sky. It must be Mr. Five's doing. I stop to see Zoro running in the other direction and run after him. Zoro, that's the wrong way. I yell after him, and he stops, turning to see me. Come on. A significant tremor shakes through towards us. I look to see giant clouds of dust and run with Zoro towards the edge of town. We jump up onto the roof of a building and see the ones we've been looking for, and Zoro jumps up into the air. Tae this, knows fancy. Mr. Five yells as he aims his snot at the princess and fires. Zoro lands in front of her and splits the booger in half, causing it to miss them both, and it explodes off to the side and behind them, causing some damage. I jump as the explosion goes off behind the swordsman and before the princess. The street. Vivi stutters in shock, but Zoro looks at his sword in disgust. Who are they? Mr. Five wonders about us, and I pat Zoro on the back, trying to comfort him. I cut his booger, he gasps in anger and disgust. Damn you. You never give up. Vivi snaps and swirls her chakram on a string towards us. Now, of all times. I turn around and grab it, letting it cut my skin a little. Don't get hasty. We're here to rescue you. I tell her, looking her in the eye. Me, she echoes, and I nod. So you're the 2 pirates who cut down all the lowly employees in this town. Miss Valentine points out. Why would you want to protect the Princess of Alabasta? Mr. Five asks us. It's a good question. We got some circumstances of our own, you see, Zoro answers him a little vaguely. Well, no matter. You're our enemy one way or the other. He replies, figures. You're in our way. Yeah, they are. Miss Valentine giggles next to him. There you are. Luffy growls as he walks towards us. He seems angry enough to convince the agents as he stomps towards us from behind them. Zoro. Now what? She wonders as we all look over at the rubber boy, still fat from his feast. Luffy, thanks, but we don't need any help, Zoro yells, acting like we talked earlier. They seem to be buying it. I'm gonna make you pay for what you did. Let's fight, Luffy shouts, full of anger. I hope he remembers it's all a part of the plan. What nonsense are you spewing this time? Zoro replies, and both of them are pretty good at acting. Shut up. I'm gonna kick your ass for being such an ingrate, he snaps, and I look a little wide-eyed at the choice of word for his friend. Ingrate? That's right. My baby brother growls and lies about what happened before he followed us. Everyone in town welcomed us and gave us lots of yummy food. But you cut down every last one of them. Well, yeah, but... Zoro tries to explain himself, and I look at the two, unsure if they're acting anymore. You will pay for this. What a dull-headed person. Vivi complains, and I look over my shoulder with narrow eyes as her duck nods in agreement. Internal strife, huh? Talk about lame. Mr. Five complains, and I fight the smile on my face as they play into the scene around them. Let's just get rid of everyone who interferes with our mission, Miss Valentine giggles. Hold on, Luffy. Listen to me. They were actually bounty hunt. Zoro explains as Luffy starts running towards us. Don't make excuses. Luffy yells and jumps over towards the swordsman. I stop back as he appears in front of him. What? He exclaims as Luffy tries to punch him but misses him as he stretches his arms. Are you trying to kill me? He looks at the hole left in the rock, and I shake my head at them. Yeah, die. Our captain agrees with a nod. Damn it. Listen to me, Zoro yelps as he dodges a kick that shakes the rocks as Luffy hits them. Hey, he jumps away as Luffy uses his head to try hitting him, but he lands in the rock face. That idiot. He's serious. He warns me. And I step towards them when Luffy pulls himself from the rock and lets out a battle cry before starting to attack the swordsman. Mr. Five, it doesn't seem like they're here to stop us. Miss Valentine states as they watch the two fight, and they fall into the trap. It would seem not. Then let's accomplish our mission quickly. Mr. Five tells her, and she puts her umbrella away. Our mission to eliminate Princess Vivi of the Kingdom of Alabasta. Why, you, quit running away, Luffy snaps at the swordsman as they cross in front of us. Hold on, Luffy. Hear me out, Zoro begs, and they crash down, creating a smokescreen. Let's do it, Miss Valentine, Mr. Five orders. Yes, Mr. Five, Miss Valentine agrees, and they come running towards us. Quit screwing around, damn it. Zoro yells and kicks Luffy into the two Baroque Works agents. All three fly into a building wall and through the house. That went well, I comment and get a strange look from the princess. The dust from the hit settles, but a second later, 6 explosions come from inside, destroying the buildings, and Miss Valentine comes flying out of the crimson smoke. Now, I'm really annoyed. Time to die at the hands of my Kilo no Mi power. Miss Valentine laughs, and I cringe at her voice. Get ready. As I ride this explosive blast, I weigh only 1 kilogram. Mr. Bushido. You have to dodge, Vivi tries to warn him. It's fine, he can handle her, I assure her. This isn't the time for that right now, Zoro tells her, and Luffy comes out of the crumbles of the building with a badly beaten Mr. Five in hand. Mr. Five. No way. He took out a Baroque Works officer agent? Vivi gasps in surprise. Now I can fight for reals, Luffy announces with a dark look. He's gone too far to reason with till he burns off some steam. Hold on, Luffy. Zoro explains that we can change now, but it won't work. Here, I come, Miss Valentine says from overhead. Calm down and hear me out. He tells Luffy. I can change to 10,000 kilograms, she keeps getting ignored. Everyone in town was a bounty hunter, our enemy. In other words. He explains, and I nod to Luffy, who nods back. Hey, don't ignore me. The blonde woman snaps at them, and Luffy puts Mr. Five on the floor. Take this. 10,000 kilogram press. She starts to fall towards Zoro, but he just steps away. Hold on, what's going on? Vivi demands. Weren't those two people friends? She asks me, and I look over my shoulder at her. Of course, I answer her and walk towards them. Now, boys, they're down. For now, we should get the princess back safely to the ship. I'm hoping Sanji and Usopp have it ready by now. I tell them as I walk. Nicely done. I kiss Luffy on the cheek and Zoro. My little brother, so good at acting. I coo as I hug around his shoulders. What now? Vivi gasps as she watches us. I want to escape, but will we be all right if we pass through here? Avoiding the other three? She seems to decide, and they start moving towards us as if we don't know it yet. I wouldn't do that if I were you, I warn her, and the duck makes a yelp as it passes us. It's dangerous out there. Damn it. I hear a curse behind me. I don't it's Mr. Five. I guess Luffy didn't know him out long enough. The title of Baroque Works officer agent will be shamed if we let these guys make fools of us. Mr. Five. Let's show them how truly terrifying we can be, Miss Valentine tells him. Let's do it, Miss Valentine, he agrees, and he comes running towards us. Right, Mr. 5. She runs after him, towards us. Don't mock us, we're Baroque Works officer agents. The bomb man shouts as he comes running towards us. Oi, be quiet, you morons, I growl, feeling my eyes glow red, and I kick Mr. 5 as he's the closest to me. Then I roundhouse kick Miss Valentine in the head, sending them flying. They fall into the buildings, creating clouds of debris. What a pain, I was talking to my baby brother. I sigh as I look at the damage done. This can't be. What strength, unbelievable. Vivi gasps, and I see Nami walks towards us. Zoro, Luffy, don't forget the plan. Now they're taken care of. We can take little Miss Princess to the ship, and we can get out of here. I tell them, and Nami steps into our little group. You betcha, and I'll get my money. It's just a good thing you managed to keep the girl safe. I hope you didn't cause me to almost lose 1 billion berries, she scolds the boys. What are you talking about? Vivi asks the strawberry blonde. Why did you save me? Right, we need to talk about that. It's like this, won't you make a contract with me? Nami explains, leaving out a lot of details. Contract? She asks, and Nami pulls her to the side as the boys talk. Nami explains everything Igaram told us and what deal we made with him. Luffy laughs too loud for Nami, and she turns to him angrily. Shut up, you two. The money-grubbing ginger snaps at them angrily. Luffy cowers a little along with Zoro, and I sit by the barrel Luffy sits on. So there you have it, as compensation, I'd like 1 billion berries. You saw how strong these guys are. She points to all 3 of us. It's a pretty good offer if you ask me. I can't. Vivi declines but seems to feel bad about it. I do appreciate your saving me, thank you. Why can't you? You're a princess, 1 billion shouldn't be much. Nami whines a little at her decline. Do you know of the kingdom known as Alabasta? She asks us, and the others all say the obvious answer, no. Alabasta is a giant sandbox, peaceful for the most part, but at the moment is in an active civil war with each other. I answer, and she looks surprised I knew anything. I've been a few times before for work. I even met you, though I was in all black, so you didn't pay me much mind. That's how I recognized you before. I see, for years now, signs of a revolution have begun to appear. The people revolted, and the kingdom fell into total chaos. Then one day, I heard the name of an organization, Baroque Works. I learned that the populace was being manipulated by this group. But there was a tight lid on any other information than that, and there was nothing I could do. That's when I asked Igaram, who always meddled in my business since childhood, for help. She explains in detail what happened. The old tube hair guy? Luffy asks him, moving a gesture with his hands. Tube? Oh, yes. I asked him if there was a way I could infiltrate Baroque Works. Because that would let us see who was pulling the strings, and what their goal was. She continues to explain. Not bad for a princess, I smile, thinking of the nickname my aunts and uncles used to call me. You're a pretty, high-spirited princess. I feel a little peg from that but push it away. So, did you figure out this goal of theirs? She nods in confirmation. The founding of an ideal nation. That's what Igaram said, anyway. Oh, does that mean? Nami asks her. Yes. The boss says it's to create an ideal nation, but it's an enormous lie. The true goal is to take over Alabasta Kingdom. Vivi reveals that whoever it is, has some balls. I have to hurry back, tell everyone the truth, and stop the fighting. If I don't do something. She can't bring herself to finish that thought and sobs a little. I see. So that's the deal. Now everything finally connects. Nami agrees but is a little disappointed in the no money part. There'd be no money during a civil war, huh? Hey. Luffy perks up a little and looks over at the princess. Who is pulling the strings? She stiffens at even the thought of revealing his identity. The boss's identity? She asks him in a shriek. You shouldn't ask that. You know who it is, right? He asks her. Don't ask me anything but that. Your lives will be put in danger, too. The princess warns us in a panic. I think I'll pass on that. Nami laughs, not wanting more danger than usual. After all, these are guys trying to take over an entire country. They're obviously insanely dangerous people. Yes, they are. Vivi agrees with her. As strong as you people may be, you'd never stand a chance against one of the 7 warlords of the sea. Crocodile. She reveals the name with a slip of the tongue. I knew about him, never met him, but what I've heard doesn't sit well with me, and now he'll be after all of us. Who? Now? Luffy asks her, and Vivi covers her mouth too late as Nami looks ready to faint on the spot. Well, that was clever, I comment as I look at her, shaking my head and looking up to see a vulture with sunglasses and an otter in a white with purple polka-dotted onesies also wearing sunglasses. They quickly escape, probably to warn their boss about us knowing. Nami cries as she shakes Vivi violently and apologizes. What was that bird and sea otter? Nami demands as she shakes the princess, who keeps apologizing to her. Are they going to tell someone? Hey, a warlord. Luffy gleams at the thought of a strong opponent. Not too shabby, Zoro agrees. Seems to be getting interesting. I agree with the boys. I am very sorry, it just slipped out. Vivi apologizes as Nami keeps shaking her. Like that really fixes things now. Why did you have to drag us down with you? Nami shouts, and Luffy chuckles with glee. She lets the princess go and starts crying again. Being hunted by a warlord the moment we enter the Grand Line is too much to handle. We're lucky we can see him so soon, Zoro wonders. I wonder what he's like, sis. Have you seen him before? Luffy asks me, but I shake my head. Nope. Shut up, you three. Nami spits at us in anger at our gleeful conversation. It's been a short acquaintance, but I thank you for everything, she says as she walks away as if she can escape. Where are you going? He asks her as she walks off, leaving us behind. They don't know what we look like yet. I'm running away, she yells over her shoulder and stops for a second. Wow, that's so good, she compliments, and I see the bird and otter again flying off with an angry Nami cursing at them. I guess this means there's nowhere to run now, huh? She stomps back over to us, grumbling under her breath. I'm sorry. Vivi apologizes again. It's fine, it was bound to happen, I assure her. Where was she planning to run to, anyway? Zoro pinders as we watch her. Guess that means all four of us are on Baroque Works' hit list now. That sounds awesome. Luffy cheers happily though Nami is south of that, as she sits in the fetal position, depressed, as Vivi tries to console her. Fear not, a voice cuts in, and I turn to see Igaram dressed in a terrible disguise of his dear princess with dummies under each arm as he clears his throat. It's all right, I have a plan. Igaram, what are those clothes? Vivi asks him, and I look back at her pointedly as she looks down at her clothes before walking over with Luffy to the older man. You look hilarious in those, old guy, Luffy giggles as he looks at them with a grin. It's idiot after idiot, Nami scoffs as she looks at Luffy and Igaram. She's not wrong in some respect. Princess Vivi. Please listen to me carefully. Once Baroque Works' intelligence network learns of something, pursuers may come after you almost immediately. On top of Thassa's secrets, you know what happens. Igaram warns her. 8,000 or so people will come after me. Vivi agrees, and Nami looks even more scared. Therefore, I will pretend to be you, like so, and sail straight to Alabasta with 4 dummies on board, he finishes explaining. These are us, Luffy asks him after finishing poking them. A decoy, huh? Zoro questions. Never gonna work, I mutter to myself. While the pursuers are busy with me, all of you will head to Alabasta via the normal route, Igaram answers, but Nami seems upset as she jumps. Hold it, Nami cuts in angrily. Who said we were gonna take the princess there? We still haven't come to an agreement, you know. Take the princess there? Luffy asks and looks down at me. What now? You remember, don't you? Pops here wants us to take her home. Zoro tells him as he gets to his feet. Oh, that's what this is about. Sure, he agrees happily, and I get to my feet, seeing as our dear captain decides to take the princess home. Crocodile is gonna come after us, you know, Nami screams at us in fear for her life. Is Crocodile really that strong? The goofball asks Igaram. He's one of the 7 warlords of the seas. He's a legally recognized pirate, and thus has no bounty on his head. However, the bounty he did have long ago was 80 million berries. Igaram informs us. Warlords, like my uncle, all had bounties on their heads till the government asked them to work for them against pirates like us, and their previous bounties are frozen at what they were before they turned into what some call government dogs. I further the explanation, and Luffy nods, seeming to understand. Whoa. Zoro seems impressed. 80 million? That's 4 times Arlong's bounty. Say, no, Nami begs in fear, but it's too late now. Will you do it? Igaram asks our captain. Yeah, it sounds like fun. Luffy agrees too readily, probably happy to fight Crocodile. I am forever grateful. He nods, and we look at the path to the ship, blocked by rocks from Luffy and Zoro's fight. Move over. I walk over and breathe in, feeling my arm coat itself in armament hockey, and I punch through the rock the first time, clearing the path quickly. I look at all of them in shock as I walk off through. Coming! I yell after them and hear them walking behind me. Igaram clears his throat, trying to imitate Vivi's voice as we stay a little away, letting them have a goodbye. Now, then. Vivi, will leave from here. Igaram says in a feminine voice. That's a perfect imitation, old guy. Luffy giggles between Zoro and me. Imitation of who? Zoro jokes, and I point to Nami, and he gives a hearty laugh but stops when she glares at him. Now then, princess. Please give me the eternal pose. Igaram requests, and she plucks it out of her back pocket and hands it over. Eternal pose? Nami questions and looks at me for an explanation. You've never heard of it? He asks, looking at our navigator. I suppose you could say it's a permanent version of a log pose. Whereas a log pose always leads ships to the next island, an eternal pose will never forget the magnetic energy of the island that is stored inside, meaning it will forever point to that island alone. And this one is set to Alabasta. He explains to me. You're going to use this to go to Alabasta? Vivi asks him with sadness. She must want to go home more than anything. I know what that feels like, but sometimes the right time is a long way in your future. Princess Vivi. Please take the indirect island hopping route to Alabasta. I've never taken the path myself, but it should only be 2 or 3 islands if you follow the log. Please take good care of the princess. He asks us. I've only heard talk about this route as I always used an eternal pose myself for every mission. Yeah, Luffy agrees happily. Igaram, Vivi holds in her tears. I expect it will be a harsh journey. Be careful on your way, Igaram tells her. Iga. She tries to say but can't bring herself to say anything and composes herself. She holds her hand for him to shake, but he also appears to have himself together. You, too, the princess replies, and he walks onto the ship and begins sailing ahead. There he goes. Luffy comments and chuckles. He was a funny old guy to the very end. He really is reliable. Vivi agrees, and we watch him sail off when suddenly, a blinding white light is coming from in front of us. It's silent before a colossal explosion detonates around the ship, burning everything on board, no doubt. The sea looks as if it's on fire as we watch the large crimson clouds loom over us as we all watch in horror. That's impossible. They're already after us. Nami yells over the crackling of the large fire. Luffy walks behind to grab his hat that fell off from the explosion. He was a great person. Luffy yells in anger. Nami, the log should be set, right? I ask her, and she looks down at her wrist at my old log pose. We're okay. It's stored up, Nami answers. Bring her with us, we're setting sail. Zoro orders, and Nami nods as she runs to the frozen princess, staring into the flames. Vivi, hurry, if they find us, it'll all be for nothing. Nami snaps at her and hugs her suddenly. I smell blood in the air and look at the princess with sadness as Nami hugs her. Don't worry, we will get you there, she promises her. I know they don't look like it, but they saved the East Blue. Just the 5 of them. Baroque works? Give me a break, Crocodile? Huh? The 7 warlords are nothing at all? Nami, come on. I yell at her, and she pulls away from Vivi. Luffy and Zoro have gone ahead to see if the ship's ready. We need to get out of here. She nods, and we run back the way we came as the boys run ahead towards the ship. Hurry, Vivi. Nami yells at her as we run. All right, she yells back, looks over her shoulder at the flames licking the sky, and we make it to the ship. Are we ready, Usopp, Sanji? I ask them as I jump on, as Zoro places the anchor down. We're ready, Dakota, my love, Sanji answers. Good, we need to get out of here quickly, I reply, and Luffy gets up too. There's no time to look for him, Nami snaps at the princess. But I can't just leave him here, Vivi argues with the stubborn woman. Still, she argues back. Hey, what's the problem? Zoro asks the woman. She says her duck is missing. The navigator yells up at the swordsman. He won't come when we whistle for him. This him? Usopp asks and points at the duck next to him. You're there? The girls yell in anger at the duck. He was here even before me, Zoro tells them, and the girls come onto the ship. There's a tributary just up the river. We can use it to get out to sea a little faster, Vivi informs us, and we get ready to set sail, Sanji and Usopp having finished most of it while we were fighting. Alright, let's go, Luffy orders as we unfurl the sails catching the wind, and we set off. One Piece. Whiskey Peak Arc. Hey, Zoro calls out to Vivi, catching her attention. Mr. Bushido. She greets him. Just how many people are gonna be chasing us down? He asks her, and Usopp starts freaking out as we haven't explained everything yet. I don't know, Vivi answers. There are about 2,000 people in Baroque Works, and I've heard there are several town-like bases like this one nearby. They really might send 1,000 people? Nami and Usopp freak out like the usual cowards they are. What is going on exactly? Sanji asks us. We'll talk about it later, once we get out of here, I tell them. We should be able to leave this island soon, Vivi says as the fog rolls around the island. Cool, there's fog now, Luffy cheers. It's almost morning. Nami sighed in relief. It was a really long night for all of us. It's good we managed to escape the people chasing us, a woman's sultry voice says. That's for sure, Nami agrees. We need to be careful not to crash the ship into the rocks. The unknown woman says, and she looks over at me as she sits on the railing next to me. I raise an eyebrow at her as she smiles at Omi. The navigator replies with certainty. Wait, Dakota, did you say something? Nope, I answer her, and she grows pale. This is a nice ship. The stranger comments, and everyone looks our way. Who are you? Zoro demands with his hand on his sword at the ready. Why you're... Vivi stutters in fear at the sight of the beautiful woman sitting beside me. I ran into Mr. 8 a short while ago, Miss Wednesday, she remarks with a smile, taking a dig at the princess. You killed Igaram, she states, growing angry. Who cares about that? What are you doing on this ship? Who are you? Luffy demands angrily. What are you doing here, Miss All Sunday? She demands, and I look at her closely, wearing a purple cowboy hat to hide her eyes. Miss All Sunday? What number is she partnered with? Nami asks the princess. She's the partner of Mr. Zero, the boss, Vivi answers her, which causes her to freak out more. The bow, crocodile? Nami lets it slip that we know the identity of someone who can relay it back to the warlord. Is she bad? Luffy asks, a little confused. She was the only one who knows the boss's identity. We found out who he is by following her, Vivi informs us as she glares at the woman clad in purple. More accurately, I allowed you to follow me. Miss All Sunday corrects the princess, and it seems she has her own motives. Oh, then she's good, Luffy guesses. I know that. You're also the one who told him we discovered his identity, right? Vivi asks her with a raised voice. Correct. Miss All Sunday admits, but it still seems she has her own motives for letting them know the identity of someone trying to take over Vivi's homeland. So she really is bad, Luffy grumbles to himself. Pipe down, you, Zoro whispers at my dork of a brother. What exactly is it you're trying to do? Vivi demands an answer. Good question. You were all so intent and serious that I found myself helping out. The idea of a princess trying her hardest to save her kingdom while making herself an enemy of Baroque works. It was just so ridiculous, you see, the raven-haired beauty smirks, and it sets the princess off. Don't you mock me, Vivi screams at her, and I see Sanji walk over and raise a pistol to her head, and I get out my own from my back holster. All of us Luffy, aim our weapons at the intruder. Hey, Sanji. You do realize what you're doing? Usopp asks him, shaking a little in fear. No, not really. I just sense that my beloved Miss Wednesday is in danger. Sanji answers, and I shake my head at his answer. I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't point such dangerous objects at me. Miss All Sunday says, and it all happens so fast, my gun is thrown out my hand with Sanji being thrown over the railing. Usopp's slingshot and Nami's staff are slapped out of their hands. You don't mean... Zoro gapes up at her as his sword is thrown to the floor, and I'm thrown backwards onto the floor. A devil. Vivi stutters. A devil fruit. I growl as I look up at her. Which one? What's her power? Nami shrieks, and I return to my feet, rubbing my ass at the hard landing. Wow, upon closer look, you're actually a beautiful lady, Sanji swoons at the raven-haired beauty. Now, don't be so hasty. I haven't been given any orders. I have no reason to fight. Miss All Sunday assures us, but I stay on guard when Luffy's hat flies into her hand. So you're the Straw Hat Captain I've heard so much about, Monkey D. Luffy. And the notorious assassin with scarlet hair, Dakota LaRue. She purrs as she looks into my eyes, my purple looking into her blue eyes. Hey, you, gimme my hat back. Are you trying to start a fight? Luffy goes postal at her. No one touches the hat. I deem you an enemy, leave this instant, Usopp says as he cowers behind the mast. How unlucky you are, you people who picked up a Princess Baroque Works is out to kill, and a princess being protected by a mere handful of pirates. But what's even more unluckier is the course your long pose indicates. The name of the next island is Little Garden. The raven-haired woman announces, and I groan. The others look at me as I hang my head in disappointment. We don't even need to do anything. You'll be wiped out long before you can even reach Alabasta. Will not, gimme my hat back, Luffy demands in anger. You wish. You big dummy, Usopp cries out from behind the mast. What are you, a kid? Zoro asks him as he looks at the cowardly sniper. Do you not think letting yourself get wiped out is a bit foolish? Miss All Sunday asks and throws an eternal pose towards Vivi, who catches it and gives Luffy his hat back. An eternal pose? Vivi questions as she looks down at the object in her hand. You can skip past Little Garden with that. It points to an island just before Alabasta. Nanamanai Island. None of our employees knows that course, so no one will chase you. She informs them. I look at her, she's right. It's an uninhabited island close to Alabasta, but why is she helping us? What? She's a good person, Nami mutters to herself. Why are you giving this to us? Vivi demands an answer. It's a trap, isn't it? Zoro questions her. Is it now? The supposed enemy replies with a grin. And I watch Luffy walk towards Vivi and grab the eternal pose. Who cares about that? Luffy snaps and crushes it in his hand, and Nami smacks him to the floor. Are you an idiot? Nami screams at him angrily as she looks down at him. Lying on the floor from her hit. She just went out of her way to show us a nicer course. What if she's actually a good person? She points back over towards our unwanted guest and me. You're not the one who decides this ship's course, he says and looks Miss All Sunday in the eye. I see. That's too bad. Miss All Sunday sighs in disappointment, and Nami growls at Luffy as he sits up. She blew up the old tube hair guy, so I hate her, our captain replies as if that's a reasonable answer for our navigator. I don't hate high-spirited people, she remarks as she walks past me towards the other side of the ship. If you survive, she stops to look down at the others. Let's meet again. No, Luffy yells back at her, and she jumps over the side. Let's go, Banshee, the raven-haired woman orders, and I walk to the side to see a giant turtle wearing a hat and smoking a cigar. What is that? Zoro gapes as we all look over the side. Don't tell me it's a sea king. Usopp stutters in fear of being attacked. No. Whoa, a turtle, the boys gasp as we watch them leave. What a huge turtle, Luffy beams, and I walk down the steps with the others and look at Vivi with Nami as she falls to her knees. It seems everything has caught up to her. I can't tell what that woman is thinking one bit, Vivi cries. Then there's no point in thinking about it, I tell her. We already got someone like that on this ship, anyway. Zoro comments and we all look over at our captain, still looking back at the turtle. Hey, explain what's going on. None of this makes sense, Sanji demanded as he was on the ship at that point. Oh, Miss Wednesday, don't tell me you've joined the crew? He swoons over her. At least he's not doing it to me. We need to explain to the lovesick fool what's going on while he's not so distracted and catch Usopp up a little more. I tell them, and the others look at me as I start to explain from the start what we know already and what the plan is and look at Luffy. Also, you should have kept the eternal pose. They can be useful as well as valuable. I look as Nami grows angry at Luffy and starts shaking the rubber idiot around and yelling at him as we exit the fog, heading to Little Garden. I see, it's too bad I missed out on it, but there's still opportunity for me to shine, too. Don't worry. Sanji boasts as Nami and Vivi come back from our room with a change of clothes. Now that this sleeping prince has awoken, your safety is guaranteed. Glad that wasn't me. Usopp sighs in relief. Nami-san, jealous any? Sanji asks her. Nope, Nami answers, and he looks Owens. I answer before he can get any words out. Is it really all right for me to be on this ship? Vivi asks us, a bit late for that. I'll only trouble you all. What are you talking about? We know who you are now, Nami snaps as she walks over to the princess and pokes her on the forehead. If you didn't want to trouble us, you should have done so from the start. I'm sorry. She apologizes with a gulp. Right, Luffy? The navigator questions, looking at our captain. Yeah, I'm hungry. Luffy cheers, obviously not listening to anything. For now, it looks like our next destination is set, Zoro comments. Little Garden, huh? Sanji repeats the name of our next island. Hey, now, will we be alright there? Usopp gulps with nervousness and looks over at me. Who knows? Let's go, man. Luffy cheers. Yeah, we all agree. And Usopp still looks scared. It's a misnomer. Little Garden is more like a giant jungle island. I tell them and walk off with Usopp screaming about death as I walk down the steps. Dakota. No? Tell me you're lying. Is it dangerous? Dakota. Nami and Usopp cry after me, and I walk into my room to get change.